Folks, we are here. Mr. RETROSPECS, the content creator, is back. We know RETROSPECS, the business owner, but he is officially back to creating content again, which we all love and enjoy. So, what is up, man? How's it going?
It's been going good, dude. Thanks for having me on. Like every single time I see you live, like you're just been going and going for hours. You've just been crushing it. Not only like making the videos and stuff, but then like doing the live streams consistently. Like you have a. It's funny because I feel like I hear you say like you don't like work, but you work so much. Like you work so hard. You know what I mean? So shouts out for sure.
I know I'm trying to like reduce the amount of time in life I have to work. And so I'm like, well, if I don't like it, I better just do as much as I can so I don't have to quicker.
Are you having fun? Like, do you still have fun and like get stoked when you hit big hits and stuff like that? Like, are you still?
Yeah. So I talk about it on stream sometimes. Dude, I hate sourcing. Hate it. Hate every aspect of sourcing. I hate the back and forth. I hate getting in this product. Rick, right over there. Okay, I just got a shipment in today of 70 cases of Kangaskhan boxes. And then we also have like another, I don't know, 360 Venusaur boxes to break down. So like just breaking down all the packs, going back and forth. Like, yeah, I don't know. I hate that aspect of it. Like obviously I hate the packing and shipping aspect, but I've obviously contracted it out now. The on stream's great, making content, talking to people, ripping backs. That's all fine and good. It's the actual work stuff, the actual business stuff that just gets on your nerves. But that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever get burnt out, or like, are you still rocking and rolling?
Oh man, you get burnt out every week, and then by Monday you're back at it. I mean,
What sort of revitalizes you? I guess like, is there something like when a new set comes out and you get to like look at new stuff, or like what sort of gets you like excited? I guess.
yeah, I mean, definitely a new set. Definitely like when there's like something that's like interesting to talk about. I mean, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to make content every day throughout the week, especially when there's not a lot going on. I would say like when there's new stuff to talk about that's interesting, or yeah, new set for sure. And honestly, I mean, once you get a few days off, it does like kind of like refocus you and revitalize you to get going. But yeah, I mean, if you're going too many days in a row and too many hours a day, I don't think anyone can just not burn out.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, you definitely lose a lot of like the wonder, like when you've seen the same card so many times or whatever that you used to be like super stoked on, like that. Yeah, I don't know. It goes away a little bit, but you try to find the Lego stuff just came out, and I think that's pretty cool. So you try to find things here and there that sort of like revitalize your passion for the hobby and stuff. But it is nice to see that like it's bigger than ever. Like there's more people here having a good time than ever
Yeah,
before, and I think that like trend is not like at a top or anything like that. Like I think Pokemon as a company has been executing so well over the past 5 years that even if card prices go up and down day to day, that doesn't really matter. Like the trend of like them drawing people into the brand is up and to the
yeah.
right. And so I feel like if you can just sort of like hang on, you're gonna win based off just them winning. You know what I mean?
Dude, one thing I love they did, I think the Mega Evolution era, I think they've hit the nail on the head, man. Because like it's the best hit rates we've ever seen. You get like 15 to 17 sometimes hits a box, right? But they've kept the main hits so hard to pull. Like, put it this way: we opened 1,000 Mega Evolution packs on stream last night. I pulled one gold Gardevoir, no gold Lucario. And so they've kept the top hit so rare and so hard to hit, but give you so much of the easier stuff like illustration rares and EXs to have fun with and pull shiny stuff, that I think they've hit the ratio to where it keeps you opening packs to see shiny stuff and feel good, but it keeps the rarity level so high to actually give the cards value and give you something to chase. So I think
What
Pokemon's doing great, man.
what do you think about like Ascended here? Like in my mind, I feel like just going off what we've seen historically, they're going to make Ascended here because Ascended Heroes is a deep set. Like there's a ton of chase cards in it, and I sort of like compare it to Crown Zenith in the sense that you might not get your money back opening Crown Zenith, but you're going to have a good time because like every
Right.
every 2 or 3 packs, like you're going to get some nice looking cards. I'd like to think Ascended Heroes is going to be like that, and if pull rates are relatively easy or sort of in the same realm as Crown Zenith, I feel like that'll almost make the product more expensive out the gate
Yeah.
because people are like the experience is so good, right? Like you're not bricking every time you try to pull these chase cards. Like you're guaranteed X amount of hits out of a certain amount of packs like Crown Zenith, and I feel like if supply is low when it first comes out, like that's just going to pump prices more because people are like, oh man, like it's a good open. You know what I mean? Like what do you think?
Well, first of all, supply is very low, like extremely low. I mean, I mean, obviously Eli Pokemart USA, he's getting a good amount, but it gets divvied up in his program. But like I talked to Pokey dude. I mean, his allocation, his entire allocation of the first two like products, it would probably last me like 2 nights of a stream. Like, and he's a pretty big store at this point. Like, my local LGS collector store, like they're pretty large. They get like, give you an idea, like normal allocation they'll give me is like 30, 40 cases of booster boxes. First of all, they couldn't even help me out with the first wave. They're like, when we get to ETBs, I'll let you know how many I can get you. Like, so it's just not anywhere. It's just not going to be there. Honestly, I could see these packs running to $15, $20, if not more, by the time at least up until the ETBs get here. So I think it's gonna be extremely expensive, and because of that, just the packs being that expensive is either going to cause people either not to open as many, or the cards are just going to be more expensive. And so I think just that in and of itself is probably going to keep a lot of value. And then, yeah, man. I mean, Mega Dream, like Mega Dream's been one of your best sellers of all the Japanese sets in the last year. I don't think that's an accident. I think Ascended Heroes is going to follow that same path.
It's funny too, because people were hating on like the Dragonite or whatever, and whether or not you think it's goofy, like it doesn't really matter. It's funny because I bought a bunch of like in Japanese they're called the MAs, they're like the comic book arts or whatever, and I bought Charizard, Gengar, Lucario, and Dragonite was the first one to sell out raw. You know what I mean? And so like it's funny, like people say all this stuff, but it's like if it's a popular Pokemon, like enough people are gonna like it that it's gonna end up working out anyways. Like I think people are like, oh, I like the art or I don't.
Yeah.
I think all that stuff is sort of noise. Mega Dream was definitely the best selling set for me of 2025.
Since what? Like D-Star Hero or what?
I mean, Rocket went pretty crazy. Like Rocket was really good. You know what was funny, dude, is Black and White was surprisingly like really strong. And like I'm not a fan of that era. I've never played those games, so like I don't know much about it or whatever. But like I'm surprised that and the boxes for Black and White sell pretty good.
Okay.
And they're expensive compared to some of the other sets, which is like surprising me. I thought that would have like fallen off hard, like there's hype out the gate or whatever. And I don't know if that's just because there's an AR or an IR of every single Pokemon like in the Pokedex, and if that's driving interest or whatever. But like that is the biggest surprising thing for me over the past year, was seeing those two sets do so well, because I honestly thought they would kind of flop.
I didn't expect you to say that. I did, because those didn't sell that well for me on stream, as well as Rocket. Rocket was out of this world. Obviously, Mega Dream's still doing extremely well. That's really interesting to hear, actually. So before Rocket, though, like what was the next set that even came close to like a Mega Dream or a Rocket, you think?
Terrestrial Festival. So like Prismatic, basically like Terrestrial went crazy. I remember because that came out, that specialty set usually comes out like right before Thanksgiving. And I remember taking orders like before Thanksgiving and just being like, yo, this is crazy. And it's funny because it was cheap at release, and then it shot up like almost 2x basically the next week. Like there was so much demand for it out the gate, and they printed a decent amount of it, but price is just like slowly creeping up. And I think it's getting to the point, if it's not already there, that it's more expensive to import now than just to buy low list on eBay. And usually when that happens, you see a pretty big gap up because everybody in America runs out of stock, and replacement cost in Japan is like so expensive once you add in the 15% tariff that like price just gaps up like 10, 20 bucks a box. And that happened with 151 too. Like for a long time, it was more expensive to import it. And now like Japanese 151, I think is like 250, moving to like $300 a box. So yeah, I don't know. It's just been wild to see how things have gone over the past year.
You know what's funny about that is, dude, I got so much heat, and obviously, like everyone knows, I'm an English, collector investor. I'm not a Japanese collector investor, but dude, I got more heat than pretty much a lot of things I've said when I was like pro English 151 over Japanese 151. That was like crazy to people. Like, oh my God, dumbest thing I ever heard. It's got the master balls. It's crazy to see how well English has performed, and how Japanese 151, they had that reprint, it rebounded, and it's just kind of been flat for a while now. Like, do you think that's due for another leg up or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think the boxes will gap up to like 3. I mean, it has like it got up to like 150 and it sat there for a while, and then it moved to like 200, sat there for a while. Now I want to say it's around like 250. I think it'll gap up to 300. It's really expensive in Japan. Japanese, like I'm probably gonna make a video about it, but like Japanese is, your investing strategy should be different. It's more of a swing trade compared to English. English is like more longer term, like weight and more steady gains with different legs up and stuff like that. Japanese is more of like, you can do really well with like a 6 to 9 month like swing trade. Like V-Star Universe, they did the last reprint, which was like basically at the very end of rotation for that set, and it dropped to like $40 a box. Like it was super cheap. And then it's and like now it's tripled, like in a shorter period of time. So I mean, like you could probably see those gains in a lot of English boxes too, depending on when you were buying. But yeah, like Japanese does really good at like once it finds a bottom, it like rebounds really quickly off that bottom. Like it doesn't stay there for a long time. Like it'll drop down to like 40-50 bucks a box, and then like 2 weeks later it'll be like 75. You know what I mean? So like you can make decent percentage gains in a short period of time, but the boxes do tend to stagnate at like different price points. So maybe not like as good as like an overall long-term hold as, but I don't know, dude. I think a lot of Japanese boxes are still cheap right now. Like I'm not trying to like pump bags or sell anything because I'm not even selling these, but like some of the tag team boxes are cheap relative to like how expensive English is and how expensive the singles are in PSA 10 and Japanese. Like some of the tag team boxes are like 500, 750 bucks. And what Cosmic Eclipse is like 10 bands or something like that. Like that's like that's crazy. Like that's a pretty
no, Cosmic's about four.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that kind of stuff.
I just looked down and saw Dan entered the chat.
Oh,
dude,
no.
Right when I saw Catch 'em All Collectibles name, all I thought was, and I'm looking at you, I'm just like, should we talk Destin Rivals?
What are your thoughts, man? How are you feeling about Destin?
Well, what's the bet? Like you guys have a bet going on. What's the bet?
So I initially, like in my mind, it was just like booster boxes to MSRP, but I guess somewhere along the line, I agreed to like any of the products. So even just like single packs, if they become like readily available at or below MSRP, basically like I lose. And if they stay above that point, then like I win. And then we bet the Japanese Team Rocket briefcase that they came out with like a year or two ago.
Okay, but hold on. Is that's market price though?
Yeah. Well, okay. They have to be readily, like, not like you could catch them on a Sam's Club drop because, bots get those and stuff like they have to be readily available to the public. Like you can go on like Hills or eBay or TCG Player or something like that.
So it's not Dan's buy list price.
Yeah, not Dan's buy list price. Hopefully not.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, okay. Since you changed it to single packs, I still think I'm bullish. I'm the crazy bull, so I'm still probably going to side with you. But you're definitely flirting a little closer with the single packs, dude. I don't think there's a way in heck that the box gets anywhere near MSRP ever.
Well, what is MSRP for packs? It's $4 or $4.50. Like what is
$4.49? I think.
I don't. They'd have to get cut in half from here, right? Because aren't the packs like $10?
Yeah, they ran up to like over 10. I think they're back down to around 9. Yeah, I mean that's a lot.
I don't know, man. We'll see. It's fun, like I don't sit and like check the prices every day, but like every day that goes by, I'm just like, oh man, like a new set's coming out, like one less chance that they're gonna slam Destin with a bunch of supply, So and they put a decent amount of it. Like supposedly the Charizard UPCs, there was a ton, but those got eaten up super quick, and those had like all good packs in them, Destin, the Megas, stuff like that. That didn't seem to affect the Destin price too much. Like I know they've been putting out bundles and different stuff like that. Like they put them in tins and like the ancillary products. So like packs are out there circulating, but
they're everywhere. I've been buying it all. Yeah, I mean they're in Venusaur boxes, Kangaskhan boxes, trainer toolkits. Like they're everywhere, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. Like it's a good like Rocket and Heatwave both sold really good for me. So for that to be like one set in English, like the box art is sick, that's subjective or whatever. That's not like an investment thesis because the box looks good. But I do think that kind of stuff matters over time. I do think a lot of people were waiting for like the Team Rocket stuff to come back, but like the cards are just good. You know what I mean? Like it's popular Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna do pretty well over time. I don't know if it's gonna be like the evolving of Scarlet and Violet, but it kind of feels like it might be at least second or third, out of the era. So we'll see.
Well, guys, okay, we kind of started out right into just talking because when me and Retro get together, we start chatting. But if you guys don't know who RETROSPECS is, guys, he runs about a 10 million, 8-figure business in this Pokemon space with, jumbled up between wholesale, sourcing operations, obviously his own sales, his own card grading, things like that. But it wasn't always that way. So what would you say? When was the moment, or can you think back, what clicked where you changed into saying, hey, I'm going full bore into Pokemon. This is my business. I'm going to start actively growing this. And it's no longer going to be just something I do Because I know you used to do like a few different things. Like you would kind of freelance other parts, other businesses, and like Pokemon was just like something you did also. When did it change where you really went full all into Pokemon?
I mean, to be honest, like even at the beginning of last year, I was still in school because like I told myself like, oh, you need to like go back, you need to get this degree, like you need to at least have this degree. And then, I was applying to like wealth management firms and stuff like that. And I was in a super easy class. Like you didn't have to go in person, but like I wanted to take it seriously. So like I went the first day and it was like so like it was, I can't even remember, it was econ something or whatever. And like the first day, the professor was asking some super simple question like, oh well, why would people expect interest out of the bank? And no one could answer this. And I'm just like, does no one in here know what a risk-free rate is? Like no one in here knows what money, like this is insane to me. And so at that point, like I stopped going to class. Like I literally only did it online because I'm like, this is stupid. Like this stuff is so easy. Like this is so base level. This is not worth my time. Anyways, I was so busy with the business and missed like a couple tests or whatever. And because I like missed them, I couldn't retake them. I ended up failing that class. And the class was like, I had no business failing that class. And I'm like, all right, dude, like what are you even doing? Like if you're getting Fs in simple classes, like why are you even going to school? Like this is a waste of your time. Like the Pokemon stuff is working. So just do that. And it was like, it was getting out of that imposter syndrome. And because I told myself, like, you have to do stuff like the traditional way. Like, you need to get like a degree. You need to go work in wealth management, like white collar job, blah, blah, blah. And then just like keep doing Pokemon on the side. And so it was a big mental shift of just telling myself, like, that doesn't need to be your reality. Like, you have to stop telling yourself that you're lesser than or could be less successful because you're not taking like a more traditional route. And that was like a pretty big mental barrier that like I needed to get past or whatever. But I think that was sort of like the clicking point was like, dude, you got to stop wasting your time on this stuff and just like accept that this is what's working and you need to go all in on that. So kind of a rant, but like hopefully that made sense.
Well, and it's crazy too, because I mean, I remember like you used to have a lot like more negative view on the market too, of like, everything was a flip, and like now you started to, start to put stuff away to invest. And so did that kind of change around the same time as like your idea of the strength of the market, like in the future?
I would say like I've been pretty like if you go back on the podcast that I did with Josh, like I've always been the more like confident, bullish one. So like
in the same room with Josh, I believe
yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. Like I was pretty confident for like a long time, but yeah, I definitely started investing heavier over the past 2 years, and a lot of that was just because stuff started working and I didn't have enough time to turn over all my capital anymore. So I was like, all right, well, I have to put this to work. So when things came up that seemed like really obvious buys to me, I just sort of like held my nose and just bought and was like, dude, this is going to make sense. You're going to be happy you did this. Just like stop trying to get cute with it here and just do it. And that, that's turned out really, really well. And I think it's going to continue to pay. It's wild, man. Like Okay. Like bear with me here. Like there's this financial podcast I was listening to earlier, and this guy that I really like was on there, and he does charts and sells like research data to like hedge funds and stuff like that, right? He's like a super funny guy. He's like kind of loud and outspoken and stuff like that. He was telling a story about Isaac Newton, right, which is like widely regarded as like one of the smartest people in history or whatever. This dude in 1718 or whatever bought this stock. It was like the South Sea stock or something, and he bought it like dirt cheap, right? It doubled. He doubled his money, and he was like, yo, I'm a gangster. Like I just printed, like I doubled my money in a short period of time. Like I killed it, right? And he sold, and all of his neighbors were like still in the stock, and it kept going up. And he's like, well, I'm smarter than all of my neighbors. Like I'm tired of watching these people make money. Like I need to get back in. So he got back in, blew himself up, like lost all of his money. You know what I mean? Like bought in at the top because he saw what other people were doing, lost all his money. And like that story to me was such a, even if you were the smart, like one of the smartest people in history, you're still subject to like your 8 brain tendencies. You know what I mean? And we are not built to be good investors. And so it's like the same thing with Pokemon. It's like, if you don't just turn your brain off and like force yourself to sort of like make these smart decisions and go against your like emotions, you're not going to do well. Like you have to just, like I said, like, plug your nose and just buy, like, and people are going to maybe like clip this or take this out of context and just be like, everything's always bullish. Everything's always a buy. And that's not what I'm saying, but like, Am I making sense in some sort of way? Like you can get too cute with it. Like you can overanalyze yourself, like analysis paralysis. You can overanalyze yourself out of making a smart decision and then end up beating yourself down the line because you're like, dude, I'm an idiot. Like I should have just done that and not like overthought it. So does that make sense?
No, it does. Like, I mean, I know me and other people that I talk with, like, there's a lot of people in this hobby, in this business and stuff that they hold a large portion of their net worth in Pokemon. And it seems crazy when you say that to like anyone in the outside world. You always go back to people, oh, I wouldn't have more than 5% or 10% of my net worth in collectibles or whatever. It's like, but I think it's different when it's like what you immerse yourself with, everything and things. And I'll do it every year. I'll even talk to my buddy Steve. Steve, you were on a podcast with us. Stock market guy, writes for Seeking Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I'll talk with him. I'll have long conversations about. I'm just like, we're going through and like we're talking about stocks and stuff. I'm like, dude, I still think I'm going to do better in Pokemon this year than selling this and putting it in any of these companies. And it starts really screwing with you because then it works. And I'm like, dude, I just killed anything I would have done in the stock market again this year. And then next year, and it's just like it almost gets you like too bullish, and you try to slow yourself down, but and at the same time, it keeps working, and you're just like, well, this is honestly the most, I don't know. And then you look at all the booster boxes, how everyone is always risen. You're just like, well, what single stock do I feel safer than that in? Well, okay, we'll put it in mutual funds, index funds. Well, the gains don't even come close to comparing. Even if I get some of these things wrong, I'm going to outperform just based on being able to buy under market and sell at market and things like that. And it's a very strange, like, I don't know, world when you get into this deep. It's almost like it changes the way you, I guess, view money. Like you see things as less risky than other people do, I guess.
Well, and like also the amounts of money, you know what I mean? Because like one case now of pretty much any decent set is over $1,000. Like that's rent for somebody for a month. Like that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So like it really, like you said, it kind of messes with you with like the dollar amounts too, because things are expensive. Like it's not cheap to invest in Pokemon. But
no.
I think you've also done well and positioned yourself like with or paying off your house rather to be able to like take this sort of risk, right? And you've built a business that allows you liquidity channels for like getting out of this investment at like a high percentage of market too, right? So like,
True.
I think that's part of it too. Like the bigger you get, it's not to say you can't just send stuff to a consignment service, because you absolutely can. But if you backstop yourself with like this big business that's churning and burning, that also acts as a way for you to like get out of these investments over time. That's just a hack. Like, I mean, that's what Rudy did, right? Like, with the Patreon, like he's making consistent money with like YouTube revenue and the Patreon and all that sort of stuff, and then selling people stuff. And that allows him to sit on these like massive positions because he's like, I'm covered, and then he's got money sitting in real estate and stocks, earning passive income too. But I think a lot of it is just like how you set yourself up to be able to take that risk. Because a lot of people that underperform, it's because like they sell too early, or they get scared, or they put stuff on a credit card or whatever.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Hey, Pokemon Cam, thanks so much for the super chat, man. You're awesome, dude. Great content. Working, but wanted to stop by. Gracias. Hey, appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for stopping by and saying what's up. Okay, so I did want to ask you. So, I mean, with everything you're doing now, I mean, you're moving so much product through wholesale, so much product through sourcing. I mean, one of the biggest critiques that this whole hobby gets, whether you're investing or you just like are collecting it, running a business, is always the liquidity side. Like, what is moving this amount of product taught you about liquidity in this hobby?
It's there, man, and it keeps on growing. And like even when prices come down, like prices coming down does not mean liquidity is coming down, and I think like a lot of people trip themselves up with that over the past few months when like the Sword and Shield stuff corrected like 10-20%, whatever. They thought like, oh, like because prices are coming down, like the market is crashing, like I can't get out of these products, and so they like panic sold, right? And then like once the people that panic sold like got bought out or whatever, now all this stuff's like running back past all-time highs. So liquidity is definitely there. It surprises me because I'm like, oh, like I'm doing a lot. Like at some point, like this dude, because I sell primarily to businesses, you know what I mean? So I'm like I want them to do good, but I'm thinking like, okay, it's really good right now. Like maybe it's going to slow down for a couple months or whatever. And then the dudes are like ordering 10% more, 20% more, 30% more. And it's just like, yo, and it just doesn't stop. So it's not just me, it's everybody that I deal with. And like seeing everybody that I deal with grow their business over time. I deal with dudes that I remember when we started, like they were maybe ordering like 10 boxes at a time or something. And now they're ordering like 50 or 75 or 80 or whatever. Right. So like it's not just me doing well, it's seeing everybody else doing
Yeah.
well that makes me confident, because I can't be in all these different card shows, all these different card shops all over, the United States, but to see everybody killing it in their own little way, like, and not only that, but then like live streamers. I thought a year or two ago live streaming was saturated. And how many people have like started live streams in the past year that are doing well on live stream? Like, this whole infrastructure is growing. It's not just like one sector of the market. And I don't know, like that makes me pretty bullish on the future. Like it definitely isn't slowing down anytime soon. So that's how I feel.
I mean, we don't have to like shout out if you have any, but like, do you have any competitors really in this space?
I
I can't put my finger on another person that's like supplying at least anywhere near like your level or scale, like a Japanese wholesale business or a just any product wholesale business. It doesn't seem like I can put my name on anyone else.
I think there was like a couple guy, like one guy I know, but I think he's maybe like less wholesale, like he's more expensive generally, but his name is Byte TCG. And then this other guy, I think he sells a little bit of everything. Like he'll sell promos and Japanese, Chinese, all that stuff. But his name's like Yub Chums or something. Like I know Dan and a couple other people have bought from him before on Instagram.
They're buying from him and not you?
I mean, hey man,
like all right. Dan's coming on next week. We're gonna question him hard about that.
Buy wherever like you can get the best price and you feel your money's best spent. I'm not tripping off of it, but I mean, Dan's bought a lot for sure. Like Dan's a good guy. I enjoy working with him for sure. So I'm not tripping off of it.
But we gotta poke some fun at Dan here and there.
Yeah.
But no, dude, like, cause like Poke he's in the chat. Brian, what's up, dude? I remember talking to Brian when I was like thinking about getting some Japanese product, and I was like talking about you, and he's like, dude, he's like, with his prices, it just makes more sense for you to buy from him. Like, do you really want to try to like go get a supplier and start new relationships, start sending money for like a couple dollars extra, like less a box? Like, he's like, yeah, you could find a supplier for a couple dollars less, but like the rates you've negotiated down to, I'm sure, with the prices you're able to offer, I mean, it really doesn't make sense for most anybody to order from anyone else but you, unless they're trying to build like their own full business themselves and like build a relationship. But like streamers and things, you don't want like, because here's the thing, every little thing in a business takes time. And I know this hobby, like the small brain way of thinking is like, I need to make max money on every single transaction. It's just like, where like the big brain thing is, I need to, make this whole process the easiest possible. And it's okay if some people make a few dollars off me along the way. If it like completely takes things off my plate and frees up brain space, I can actually go make more money somewhere else because, well, Retro's got me with all this. I don't even got to think about it. I just say, hey, I need all this stuff. Send it to me. And then I can spend my time doing other things. And so it's just, honestly, I would say for the majority of people, it makes sense to order from someone like you because it's actually more beneficial for their business.
Well, I appreciate that. I think part of what I offer too is like safety, in the sense that like I'm backstopping everything, and like I keep capital around to backstop everything. Like if something gets lost or whatever, or something, goes missing for a while, like I'm calling FedEx, like I'm making sure that the package gets released from customs. Like I prepay all the tariffs up front. I prepay all the shipping. Like you literally just pay me, you get boxes. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I try to make it like as frictionless as possible. And so I think providing that sort of problem solve there is sometimes maybe more valuable than like $1 or $2 per box differential in the price. So, and like sometimes I will pay more to get stuff to somebody quicker, and I value it getting, especially if it's like a new client or like it's someone that orders like a ton all the time or whatever, and I know they need it for a show or something like that. Like I'll pay up slightly just to get it to them quicker, because I value that relationship and I want that person to like get it by the weekend or whatever, so they can turn around and sell it at a show or on stream or whatever. So I try, and like I'm trying to get better. Like I just started offering like One Piece. I'm trying to get like more consistent volume, I guess, of like One Piece, because that's been doing really good. So I'm trying to make it better for sure, and I'll try to maybe even get it more automated in the future, where there's just like an order form that you fill out and then you just sort of contact me for like payment confirmation and stuff like that. But yeah, like I want
One Piece doing the same thing English is.
Like the prices aren't as crazy. Like it's definitely cheaper. I mean, like some of the boxes on the Japanese side of One Piece are like $50. Like One Piece is pretty cheap. Like the specialty sets, for whatever reason, in One Piece, they seem to have nice hits and people like open them, but the boxes are really cheap. But prices are definitely up from like where they were, 6 months ago or whatever. So yeah, it's been doing pretty good. So, but it's kind of like, and I don't want to get political, but like people are talking about like, capping credit card rates or whatever, right? And part of the reason, like I was listening to these guys that are like old school, like macro traders, and they were talking about, if we cap credit card rates, what's going to happen is like all the rewards and the good stuff that you get from like being a member with a credit card, like all that stuff is like going away. You know what I mean? And like, it's kind of like you get too greedy here and there, and then like you make it not great for everybody kind of thing. So like if I got too greedy to where people couldn't make money, or I only thought about me making money and didn't want like their businesses to be successful, then they're not going to grow and they're not going to order more. So it's like a zero sum game kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like if I'm just purely greedy, like it hurts us both kind of thing in the long run. Yeah. So I know that sounds like virtue signaling or whatever, but it's the truth. If other people's businesses are growing that you're in contact with just by like association, you're going to have like more opportunities in the future because everybody's doing well,
Yeah.
So
well, the same thing can be said with like, PSA slabs or like, graded cards. It's like, sometimes some of these graded cards get down so low to where it's literally within dollars of what the card cost plus the grading fee cost. But people are like, well, I grade my own cards. I don't want to pay a premium for, a PSA 10. It's just like, dude, it's $10 more. Like, do you want to take the risk and go through all the waiting and trouble and just buy the card? It's like I've noticed that like more and more in this hobby is people are it's usually people that again, like are either newer or, maybe they have less capital. Maybe they just like, I don't know what it is, but they're very worried about pinching every dollar. Whereas anyone who's more and more successful gets larger and larger, they're much more willing to understand that like, okay, this guy's making a little off me. This guy's making a little bit, but it's making me exponentially more because I can move more volume. I can do more things because they're taking care of X, Y, or Z for me. It's almost like having employees without having employees when you're like working in tandem with other businesses.
Yeah, no, 100%. And to your point about the slabs, like if you spend, like I said, like the $10 premium or whatever between like the raw plus the grading costs and all that sort of stuff to just lock in the PSA 10, if the card moves to the upside, you're going to make more money having the PSA 10 than just having a raw copy of that card, because the raw copies are easy for people to get on TCG Player and replace, like, and list, right? So even if the card doubles, you might like 2.5x or 3x on the PSA 10 because those can't be like readily, like immediately replenished. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you spend a little extra for a better asset and then you end up doing better in the long term, right? So yeah, I think that was a good point for sure.
So you told me before stream we were talking, you haven't been grading like as much as you used to, but you're thinking about getting back into the grading side. I mean, to give everyone an example, like how many ish cards were you basically grading and moving a month back when that was like kind of the main source of your business?
I don't know. Like I probably should do like a better job. Probably around like two, or not per month, but like total per year. I don't know. Probably like 2,000 or 3,000 or something like that. I went really heavy on McDonald's Pikachu last year because that just seemed like pretty obvious to me. But other than that, like I didn't make a bunch of massive plays. I had stuff sort of like churning here and there with CGC, like low value stuff that's kind of like high volume, low margin type stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get to the point to where I'm doing like 5K cards a year, because there's so many things now. Like Dan offers a service that's really convenient, and there's so many things where like you don't have to do a ton of the work. And the percentages are still pretty good. So if you can offload and if you can like sort of duplicate a card, like I like going like really deep on something, like buying like 100, 200, 500 of a promo that I know is going to sell through well, and then just like selling through them over time.
Now, do you grade all those with one order, or do you like stagger the orders?
It depends on like when I get them in, but like usually I'll try to send off like as much as possible up front, and I separate them, like this goes to PSA, this goes to Dan, and like kind of, and then like this amount I'm gonna list raw type thing. And I like to just stick with like the most liquid stuff and do it in volume. And I sort of like give myself like okay, like by the time this comes back from PSA, is there still enough spread here between what I paid plus grading and all that stuff that like I'm still gonna make enough? And when you do the same card over and over, you can sort of like, you can pre-grade like a lot of cards in 2 hours. And so if it takes you like 2 hours to put the order together, and you make, let's say you pre-grade 400 cards or something, and out of those 400 cards, like 170 are gradable or something like that. And you send them off, and it takes you like 2 hours to do all this. And you send them off and they come back. And even if you only make $10 per card, you made $1,700 for like 2 hours of your time. You know what I mean? So like that's pretty good. Like that's $850 an hour. It's not the most like rewarding thing.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by you made it? Like you have a buyer for all of them already? You're saying?
No, not necessarily. But like over time, like as they sell. But like if you're picking like liquid, like McDonald's Pikachu, for instance, like that takes 2 seconds to pre-grade, right? Like those cards, they're Japanese, they're non-hollow for the most part. Like it's just centering and checking and whitening on the back, and that's pretty much it. And like that kind of thing, like like right now my listing probably sells like 5 a day or something like that on eBay, you know, just in PSA 10, and then CGC 10 maybe I sell like 1 or 2 a day or something like that. So like those kinds of things that are hyper liquid, you can afford to take slightly less, and it's still pencils for your time kind of thing. Hopefully that made sense. That was kind of all over the place.
Yeah. No, I that makes sense. Nonstop Dre, dude, anytime. Rudy's welcome on the stream anytime. If I could ever lock that down, that'd be, you know what's really funny about this? So I've always like, cause I watch like almost all Rudy's videos. I've always like heard little things. I'm like, I've said the similar things. Dude, one of the recent videos, he literally pulled out. Well, he goes, what the Poke Bros call it is the I'm gonna wait crew. I'm like, dude, I know he watches my videos.
I did hear that. That's gangster.
Like that is my coined term.
I think he watches some people for sure. Like you can't be that deep in it and not at least be interested. Now it's not to say he's going to take advice necessarily from like PokeTubers or whatever, because you know he's at such a level. But I think he's interested. He seems still passionate about this. Like I know Magic's his main thing. Like he's not super into Pokemon or whatever, but I think he still likes this stuff. But again, like once you get a business to a certain point, like you're maybe not as into it as you were like when you first started kind of thing. But I think he still cares for sure.
No, he's definitely not taking advice. He probably just clicks through some of the videos to like get a sense of kind of like what's going on. He'll probably check some TCG player charts, then he'll make his video about what he thinks about stuff. Like I'm sure it's like that kind of thing. Like if I had to guess. Ray.
Yeah.
Ray's in the house. What's up, man? Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, Ray. Hope all is well, my man. Shout out Nick and Alex, the 2 best in the space. What were you gonna say though?
No. I was just agreeing with you about Rudy. I think similar like we were talking about earlier with content and stuff like that, and it becomes tough to like sort of like say things over and over and like reassure people. I mean, he's doing a lot of that too, and like people make fun of him for it and get after it, but it's like people will make fun of him, but then like not listen to the thing that he said like 1,000 times, you know? And it's so it's you try to reinforce these things, and a lot of the competitive advantage in the space, I think, is just to like be able to analyze like the decisions that you're actually making and not sit on your hands and like not be fearful. Like I see a lot of people even that have been here for a long time see things so crazy and are still like fearful or like hesitant. And it's not to say like take 100% risk and have like no caution or anything like that. But if you being too cautious is like kneecapping you, and you see this pattern happen over and over and over again, it's okay to take slightly more risk. Like I remember Charlie Herlocker was on a stream. It might have been like, I don't know if it was like Pokenomics or Pokemon Wonder or something like that. This is a while ago. And one of the things he said was like, you know, he talked to some super rich coin dealer that told him, if you're never taking a loss, you're not taking enough risk. Like you should not be winning 100% of the time. Like, because you're missing out on maybe like another 20-30% upside with like a 2% downside on like this other play that you got wrong or whatever. So if you're right all the time, you theoretically like you should be taking or you can afford to take like slightly more risk. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of like Sean Reserved Investments, where he got calls like Poindexters. Like that's how I feel like some of the commenters are. Like, you know, you'll get 100 plays right over the, you know, you'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, and then they'll like get in there and like, well, you got this wrong, and you could have bought this a little lower, you could have sold this a little later, and it's just like, okay, guys, like that's not the point here. But what I love about like, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly when you got in, but like we've been in the space a while now. I've been on YouTube for like 3 years or so now. I love that we're finally getting to the point where seeing what you said is like coming to fruition, and are you right or wrong? And I think like, you know, going back to what Rudy's been around so long, and he's been on YouTube so long, that like he's had that happen so many times now that you can't like deny it. And like I'm excited to be on YouTube 5, 8, 10 years too. And that way, like you'll have so much track record. People, it's like, dude, I've been saying this stuff the whole time. It's come to pass every single time. Like, I don't care. Like, all these people in the comments, they're still worried about like, oh man, you could lose all this. It's so risky. Don't buy here, buy there, buy this price, sell at that price. It's just like, you guys are missing it. It's the long game. It's all the long game. It's not picking hairs here. It's not stepping over $1 to pick up a nickel type thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've made tons of mistakes. Like I bought tons of stuff that went down or whatever, or made, bad grading plays in the past. They're like, and almost everybody that's successful in this space has made mistakes. I mean, Rudy talks about like his mistakes all the time too. So if you're not, it's like you said, like people will hold your feet to the fire, but it's like if you're doing well over time, like if you're getting 6 out of 10 things right, which doesn't seem like on paper, like, oh, 60%, like that's not sexy or whatever, but like that's a winning percentage. You know what I mean? So yeah, people are always going to be haters about this, that, or the other thing or whatever. But like overall, if you're getting enough right over time, like you're going to scale. There's nobody that is 100% perfect, that's never made a mistake or anything like that. Like it just, but that, like to your point, like that's not the point. It is the long game. It is making as many smart plays as possible. And if you spread yourself out a little bit to where you have, like Sword and Shield, you have some Scarlet and Violet, like you're not like diversified, but you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Like generally you're going to do well. And even if you do bet heavy on stuff, sometimes the ones that you bet heavy on and win big outpace the ones that like you went decently heavy on and like still lost. Because, I talked to my friend Kai about this all the time, and we think about the worst losses we've ever taken, and they're not bad. Like they hurt at the time because it's like, oof, like I thought this was going to go right and I was an idiot and got that wrong, but they're still not, they're not like crippling. And I don't really know a ton of people that have, and maybe I'm just like not watching enough Pokemon YouTube or whatever, but like I don't really know a ton of people that have had crippling losses. Like scams and chargebacks and stuff like that. Like that's a different thing. But I'm talking about like plays you made over the past 5 years that just like really set you back. I don't know.
I hate when I get the question because it feels like you're lying to people. Like people ask me that all the time, and it feels like I'm lying. But it's I've never had any. Like I've never had these crippling losses. I've had times where I've had to like I've decided to sell things a break even or a slight loss. My worst things I've ever done is not buy enough and sell too early. Like that's it. Like I've never had major setbacks financially in the hobby. And I mean, again, it sounds unrealistic, but I just feel like when you're in this hobby a long enough time, you get a good feel for, time frames, a good feel for price points, you know how to move things. Like, I don't know what it is, but you're right. Like the downturns just aren't really there. They don't exist.
Well, and like I used to be so focused on like I have to break even on everything or I have to make a slight profit. And so like if I would get grading misses back and they would be like PSA 8 or PSA 9, like I would list them to where like I still broke even or made profit, and they would sit. Now a lot of the time, like unless it's a liquid card and I know it's going to sell in 9 anyways, if it's like 8 or below, I just send it to auction. I charge like extra above on shipping because like shipping is going to cost me like, I don't know, $5.50 after like materials and label and all that sort of stuff. So maybe I charge like $5.99, $6.99. So I'm at least making like $1 on shipping or something like that. And I just started at 99-cent auction and let it run because I'd rather get like some percentage of the money back and be able to re-roll that money. And that was a huge unlock for me too, because like I said, I used to be so caught up in like, I have to break even on this. And that's 100% like the because like I said, what ends up happening is like you end up sitting on that stuff anyways, because like no one's going to buy your PSA 8, SIR or whatever, or it's going to take a lot longer to sell. You'd be a lot better served just like taking that money, re-rolling it, taking your like small, 20, 30, 40% loss, whatever, and then having that money back that you can re-roll into something else. Yeah. Because most of the time, like you're gonna win, and those wins are gonna outpace the losses. But that was a huge mental unlock. Was just like, dude, you do not have to break even on everything. It's okay to take a loss. And
like how micro or macro focused you are. It's just like, yeah, like are you gonna look at a few cards per order? Yeah, I lost money. I the grading fee and the card cost was more than I sold it for. But then you're like, well, what about the whole PSA order? Maybe you have some small order that does bad and you actually somehow lose money in the whole order. But then you're like, well, what about all the orders for the year? Oh yeah, I made tons of money. And it's just like, well, yeah, I'm sure you could like maneuver it in a way where you look like super micro focused. I lost money here, but it's just like, man, when you take everything, I just think it's really hard to stack too many losses in this hobby when you take into account everything.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're good. Oh, I was just going to say last thing on the PSA thing. Like, I'm sure you've had this too. Like at a certain point, if you've graded enough cards over time, you're going to get a return back where you're like, I had no business getting this many 10s, and you do. And like those kinds of wins where you don't expect the win, that catapults you so far ahead that even if you do take some small losses in the future, it's like, well, who cares? I got lucky back here. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Did the whole like PSA Japan thing throw everything into like a crazy mess like everyone thought it would, or has it been that big of a deal? Because I don't grade much Japanese and like anything, so it hasn't really affected anything I do. But I know you were really deep into it.
I mean, I think there's still money to be made. Like Japanese sellers will pretty much like always beat you to market now because like they have the cards on the ground and are able to like turn them around quickly. I still think PSA Japan has a slightly quicker turnaround time than in America for sure. But I mean, there's still money to be, like I said, like I was buying McDonald's Pikachu packs for 10, 15 bucks a pop or whatever. And even now, after there's like 200,000 in the pop, my listing on eBay, I think, is like $76.99. And like I said, I sell like 5 a day. So even with like bulk grading and like paying for the pack, like you're still doing percentage, but like I'm not making $100 per card, but like percentage wise for the liquidity, like it turned out really well. So there is still opportunity there for sure. But like I don't personally try to do like the first to market, like grade Charizard SAR from Inferno, like the Phantasmal Charizard. Like I'm not trying to do that stuff because the guys in Japan can just like decimate me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think that stuff is a little more risky now than it used to be. But a lot of that honestly is the tariff. It's not necessarily like PSA Japan, it's the tariff. Like it's having to pay like an extra 15% on top of it and then
Yeah.
waiting for it to get to you. So like the spread on like the card price you're paying up on, and then also having to wait, a week or two extra to get it into the States from Japan. Like I think that can be a little risky with the more expensive stuff. So
Yeah. And like, going to like the whole sales part of it, I think, like you said, when you're just gonna like turn it and take a small loss and like return and burn the money. I think people get caught up really bad in like wanting all of it, like what you're talking about. Whereas, if you're gonna be running a business and you're not investing, right? You're like, I don't want to invest money because I can churn and burn. I can build that snowball faster and faster. But then you'll have some of those people and you'll be like, dude, how long have you had those for? Oh, like 3-6 months. And you're just like, you're basically investing without even investing in it. Like you're investing in this dead inventory because you want top dollar. Why don't you just get that out and keep churning and burning and flip your inventory like 10 times this year instead of a couple times, just so you can get the best way I explain it is like, it's like playing Scrabble. And it's like you're holding like the Q and the Z and the X and everything. And you're sitting there waiting for that perfect setup to get this like 50-point word. And it took you like 6 rounds. And by the whole time that's happening, everyone's making 10, 15-point words. And they have like 100 points. You're like, 60 points. You're like, dude, you're behind. I don't know what to tell you. Great word, but you're behind, man. And that's how I feel like a lot of people operate in this. Like they try to get top dollar off everything they do, and they don't realize they're getting behind by doing that.
yeah, no, 100%. The goat reseller Tekken Sports, he has like a similar thing where he says it's better to have some of the money all the time rather than all of the money some of the time, because like that compound interest just works,
Yeah,
crazy wonders, like exactly what you're saying with the Scrabble thing. So yeah, I
that's
mean,
good. That's a good saying.
yeah, like not getting greedy, just knowing like, hey, this is for turn. No, it's not to say like if you're bullish on a card or something like that, like don't undercut the market or something just to offload it or whatever. But like don't get greedy easy. Like even a lot of like most of the English, because I've offered a little bit of like English wholesale here and there. Most of it's just guys I know that have like warehouses that get a ton of it. Sometimes I'll mark packs up like 50 cents a pack, but it's like if you sell 1,000 packs or something, that's like still pretty good money. You know what I mean? So like it's you don't have to be greedy. Now most people will be like, oh well, it's not even worth my time to like middleman something for only like 50 cents a pack. That doesn't even make any sense. But like
Yeah.
that it's
Well,
yeah.
it's like a Wall Street saying. It's like, don't turn a trade into an investment. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think that's what
100%.
happens too much. It's like you're like, well, if I hold it longer, it will go up. And it's just like, no, you didn't believe in this card. You bought it for a flip, like it tanked. Like you got to get out. You got to get into something else. Like don't turn it into, well, maybe it will come back. People do that with stocks all the time, right? They'll get in a stock that they thought was gonna like run up, be whatever they thought earnings, or because some news was coming out about some tech thing, and it doesn't happen, and like starts trailing down. Like, well, I'll just dollar cost average. I'll hold it longer, and it's just like, do you even believe in the company? Like, it's like, was it a trade or is it an investment?
Yeah, 100%. And being able to like bifurcate that and like understand like this was the purpose for this is really important. Like I don't do a ton of trading, but like every once in a while, like I'll buy like call options or leap options or something like that. And like I was long XLI Like I had call options on XLI, which is like the industrials index, and it popped. Like it did really good, but like I sold it like a few days ago or whatever because I was happy with what I made, and the goal was like, if I'm right here, I'm taking this money and I'm putting into stuff I'm holding forever, like VOO, you know what I mean, VTI, like that kind of stuff. So I was like, if I'm right here, I'm taking this money and I'm putting it into something that like I'm never selling, kind of thing. So I'm okay making 30-40% instead of like doubling my money. Now it's gone up like more since then, and so obviously like in hindsight, I'm like, oh man, I wish. But again, to your point, like it wasn't an investment, it was a trade. And I was like, I'm happy if I can clip my little percentage for clicking some buttons on my phone and just take the money now and stick it, you know, somewhere that's going to like pay me dividends over time, that kind of thing. But I could have, like I said, like it could have easily gone down. I could have gotten greedy. I could have convinced myself that, like you said, it like, oh, this is an investment. I'm going to hold this. Like I'm going to get greedy and wait for more. And then if it went down, like I would have felt like an idiot. Right. So being able to like set things like up front where like this is exactly what I'm doing with this. And I think a lot of people get, it's tough when like people try to like collect too, because like they'll get a sub back, and if they're trying to grow the business, they're like, oh, but I got a 10 on this really cool card, I want to keep it. And it's like, no, dude, like that's for the business, you know what I mean? And so like that can be kind of tough and bottleneck your growth a little bit too if you try to, you need to set up front like this whole sub is getting sold for the business, or like I'm keeping this card if it tends, kind of thing. But if you decide after the fact, then like that's sort of a slippery slope, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think of it too, it's like, which I figured out quickly. It's just like, if you really want something and you're just like, well, what's the crazy growth you think is going to happen? I think it's that card's going to go from $100 to $1,000. It's like, okay, well, if it does that in the next 10 years or 5 years, whatever, how much money did you make off that $100 you kept flipping? Do you think it more than paid for that card in the future when you want it? Like, don't you think it'd be better now to just keep making money off that money? If you really want that card later on, you probably won't even want it then. But if you still want it, go pay the $500 for it. Go pay the $700. Like, you made way more money off it by just not keeping it when you couldn't afford to. And so, no, I agree with that, man. What makes you so bullish on 2026? You said you think 2026 is going to be just as good or just 2025. What makes you say that?
I mean, dude, like look at the stock market, look at the crypto market, like things are strong, like liquidity, and like look at Pokemon price, like look at how and people were so negative, like the entire zeitgeist was so negative for like 2 months, and it was like, dude, guys, like what are we even talking about here? And things have bounced back so quickly, and like, you know, most of this stuff I feel like is again at or above all-time highs. So it's just like it's tough. I'm just not fighting the trend, to be completely honest. Like and seeing how crazy like One Piece is going, that to me is just like another function of like overall liquidity in the space. Like,
yeah,
and Magic is doing crazy. Like even in 2021, I don't remember Magic like being dummy expensive and going crazy. I don't remember Yu-Gi-Oh like coming out with new sets that were like dummy expensive and like Pokemon was it. Like Pokemon was the expensive thing, and that was it. Now like there's so much money in all these other places that if liquidity shrinks at all, I feel like it's coming out of this other stuff way before it's coming out of Pokemon, especially in the 30th year anniversary. So,
well, also everyone at this point, I mean, I guess not everyone, but so many people like always draw similarities between the crypto runs and the Pokemon and TCG collectibles runs, right? Crypto sat this last rally out. Like crypto's been relatively flat, and Pokemon stock market going on these runs. It's like, well, what if crypto goes on another run? Like, do we not think it's like everyone's like, well, when crypto drops, Pokemon drops. Well, what about when crypto runs? Like, are we not going to have more money pouring into Pokemon again? Like, it's got to work both ways, guys. It can't just work negatively. It's got to work positively too.
Well, and as long as like the market stays strong, like people are making within Pokemon like so much money that like it's just sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because like all these businesses continue to grow, you know, people open like all this stuff. And, you know, we don't have to like necessarily get into like the drama or whatever, but like PSA doing things that increase liquidity is a net overall positive. And like, again, it just goes to that compounding interest, like you being able to turn your money, like whether you're just doing this as a side business or a full-time, like it doesn't matter. Like the liquidity right now, because of the infrastructure that's been built, is so insane that so many people are winning. Like in 2021, if you think about like the top 20 people that made the most on Pokemon, like at least on YouTube, right? It was like a small group of people. Like there was people out there that used to own a store and had like 100 base boxes and they're dummy rich and all that kind of stuff. But like in like making content, at least like it was small. Like it was like 5 or 10 people. You know what I mean? Like it was all the same guys that we used to all watch and go on their live streams and all that sort of stuff, right? It was hyper concentrated. And now, like, dude, there's thousands, like 1,000 probably, like maybe 1,000 is a little crazy, but probably multiple hundred Pokemon investment YouTubers that have like 10K subs, 20K subs. You know what I mean? Like so many more people this time were here and experienced crazy gains when the market took off. And so there's just more money in the hobby than ever before, just based on that. Not even including like all the new people that have been coming in over the past few years. Like the people that have been here for a while have made so much money, and that usually gets recycled back into the hobby. So I think that's part of it too, honestly.
I like the way you think, man. 2026 is looking bright. I think for all those reasons. I mean, I just can't put my finger on anything that could really derail it other than some like catastrophic worldwide event, some crazy thing. Like other than like something like that, like a major event or something, there's just nothing to worry about. Like politically, there's nothing to worry about, in my opinion. Like midterms coming up, great. Republicans win, it stays the same. Democrats win, it's gridlock. Nothing's going to happen. Markets like certainty. They know certainly nothing's going to happen then. Like I just don't think. I mean, you've got the market's strong. Crypto's now recovering. Like you said, all the businesses are doing better. It seems like the hobby's flush with cash. You have other TCGs, like you said, all doing well. One Piece Magic. I mean, if the hobby or anything contracts, Pokemon's not first.
Yeah, well, and think about too, like when we first got in, like it was just Collecticon. You know what I mean? Like when 3,
and that was
4
like
years
brand
ago,
new, wasn't it?
yeah, like well, exactly. And like now it's like, oh
Well,
yeah, everybody knows
whatnot was basically brand new, like 2020.
Yeah. And so like now you have like front row, and like in almost every state in America, you've got card shows like almost every weekend, right? Like there is just the exponential growth is insane. And again, like if you're zoomed in on day-to-day card prices, like you're missing the macro trend, and the macro trend is like up and to the right. Like the infrastructure, the amount of like hobbyists, customers, collectors, whatever you want to call them, like it's just getting bigger year over year. So whether or not this card you're looking at on TCG Player goes from $30 to $20 over the course of a week, like that's not indicative of like what is happening in the broader hobby. So I try to remind myself of that and just be like, dude, just patience pays. Patience pays. Like, and if you just wait, man, like a year from now, I mean, you think about that, like Prismatic and stuff like that's gonna be like out of rotation and stuff like, and it's like, dude, what is 151 gonna be at by Christmas?
Scary.
Like, if all these normie people come in, what are the kind of thing that's gonna what are the kinds of sets they're gonna gravitate towards? Like probably 150. It's like so obvious, right? It's like Kanto, like 151, like the original Pokemon. If you have somebody that gets introduced back into card collecting for the 30th year anniversary based on like some marketing campaign that Pokemon puts out, like what are they going to go to? They're going to go to like the set with all the EVs. They're going to go to like 151. They're going to go to Crown Z. Like they're going to go to the obvious stuff. And that is just going to like, I don't know, man. Like maybe this is just hyperbole. People are going to call me a shill or whatever, but that's legitimately what I think. And that's how I've like positioned myself with my investment. Like most of what I have in Scarlet and Violet is Prismatic and 151. I have like Destin and Surging and some other stuff like that too. But I really feel like those specialty sets are going to be attractive to like new people coming in for sure.
Dan said, I know more people making 250K now than I did making 100K 5 years ago. People were saying, is it possible then? Yeah, I remember that. Like I remember 5 years ago, or like maybe not 5, maybe like 4. But like people talking about like, is it possible to make $100,000 a year with a Pokemon business or in the Pokemon hobby? And it was like, yeah, maybe it's really hard though. And now I'm just like, dude, if you're working full time with this every day, I don't know how you couldn't type thing.
But yeah, especially with all the options now, like you can send a Dane, you can send a James, you can sell your stuff immediately on PS. Like there's so many options for you to like turn your money over quicker than ever before that. Yeah, I think it's really possible for sure for people to still get in and make good money.
Yeah, man, this is it's kind of crazy when you say things like, pump your bags or all that stuff. It's like, isn't the thing you do when you believe in something, you put your money where your mouth is? And it's like, well, if I'm putting my money into something, aren't I going to tell you like, well, you're asking me what do I think? I think Prismatic and 151. What are my largest positions? Prismatic and 151. Like, does it surprise anybody? Like we're straight up telling you. And another thing is funny is like me and my friend that I work with talk about it. The longer you're in this hobby, the more you almost develop a sixth sense, and you get a feeling of like, certain timings. You get a feeling of like kind of what sets are, when's going to happen, what's going to happen. And again, sure, sometimes you're wrong, but dude, man, the more and more we're in this hobby, I feel like the more and more we're right about this stuff. And with so many people with so much experience and who are so knowledgeable in this hobby, all saying the same things, usually that's a sign to buy.
Yeah, and I mean, like you look at stuff like Evolving Skies is running up, I think, again to like all-time highs on the box prices or whatever. And it's like, look at the spread between what Evolving Skies booster packs cost and what ETBs packed out and boxes packed out are. You know, like there's like that kind of stuff still feels like value. It's expensive at like $35 a pack, but when you multiply it by 36, like the spread between, because I think ETBs back then were what, like 8 packs? ETBs are like $350. You know what I mean? Like ETBs are expensive, and then same thing, like the booster box is even more of a premium. So I look at that kind of stuff and I'm like, dude, if streamers keep on ripping this kind of, they're not opening booster boxes, they're not opening ETBs because it just doesn't make sense financially to, like, you just wait. Like those packs are probably going to hit like $50 or something by the end of the year. Cause it's like, are people going to stop opening Evolving? Like probably not, but people are definitely not opening booster boxes to get packs because of the premium. So you look at little stuff like that. And again, like, you know, back to your point about playing the backs, like I'm still sitting on packs because like I believe in that. Like that is what I believe. Like, and if people ask me, I'm going to share it or whatever, but like I'm not like living or dying by like, if the packs don't go to $50, I'm back to Wendy's or anything like that. But that, like, I believe in this stuff, and like I know you believe in this stuff, and Brian and a lot of these other dudes do too. So it is like finding that fine line of, and I'm sure there's people out there doing stuff where they like pump and dump or whatever, but for the most part, like guys that have been here for 5 years or whatever and have built these big businesses, like you don't need to risk your reputation doing this like pump and dump kind of stuff. You can just talk your book and talk what you believe in. And there's always going to be people that are call you this, that, and the other thing. But it's like, dude, like what is it? Like the proof is in the pudding kind of thing. It's like, dude, like look at what everybody's done. Like look, if you would have listened to like a basket of you, Brian, Dan, Z&G Emporium, you know, like these other, like how would you have done over the past 3 years? So you can call these people whatever or nitpick little mistakes that they've made here and there, but it's like, how good would you have done? How much would you have changed your financial position just like listening to a basket and kind of like finding the even medium between all these guys? Pretty damn well. You know what I mean? So it's like that's hard to argue. That's pretty hard to argue.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get like too like, you know, almost like it's sad, but it's just like, you know, it's fun to get online and like, you know, joke about like, hey, you know, we're broke. Like, let's like be mad at the people who have money and stuff, and like they're all evil. But it's just like, dude, once you get done typing and going to everyone's channel and talking about how bad they are for the Pokemon hobby and you know, for making money and all that, and you know, go get in your little circles and be miserable together and cheering about being broke. Once you log off that screen and you're sitting there, you realize, hey, it sucks being broke. Like you can't do anything in life. And then you start thinking like, maybe I should like start bettering myself and not like, you know, do the same thing I do every day and get on and like trash people and celebrate being broke and like, you know, get on the train to hate everyone that's, you know, trying to help everyone invest or make businesses. And, you know, I think maybe some people just never come to that like realization, but some people are going to be sitting there eventually and be like, yeah, this does suck, man. Like, you know, my car's barely running. Like I'm living in this crappy apartment or something. Like, you know, I'm not happy at my job or this or that. Like, yeah, money would change the situation. And wow, if I could do something I actually enjoy, a hobby, and make a living in this hobby, wow, that is pretty cool. Maybe these guys are onto something. That's a pretty cool idea. But again, it's just like, it's so demonized now that I think it pushes a lot of people away because they get lost in those groups.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think like just to be sort of empathetic, I think a lot of it is because people that like don't have assets, like it's sort of like a cry for help in a way. Like I don't want to get too political, but I personally believe like the people that have been donating all this money for the accounts now, like have you heard about this for like babies? Like all these billionaires have come out and like donated all this money basically to the government. They're calling them Trump accounts, but basically it's like if you have a baby between like now and I think it was like 2030 or something like that, they will put the government will put $1,000 in.
Oh, I heard something about that.
Yeah, like in a retirement account, and it's like that immediately exposes somebody to the stock market, and you can't pull it out to your 18. So it's almost like a coming of age IRA type thing or whatever. But like,
wow. And it also keeps money like in the funds to keep the funds kind of
yeah, exactly. But like, what do you think that's going to do for people's general mood towards the stock market, right? Because like on the fringes, you got this like, you know, like tax the rich and like, you know, like the capitalism's all scam and the stock market's all a scam. Like you've got that on the fringes, but a lot of that, like a certain percentage of those people, it's like, it's hurt because they don't have exposure to assets that are like meaningfully changing their situations. If you have a kid and now that kid has $1,000, you're going to be rooting for the stock market. You're going to be rooting for like, industry and capitalism and for like America to continue winning and stuff like that, because like that's the future of your child. So like if people can just get exposure and you're sort of like on the team type thing, that dramatically changes the conversation. I think a lot of the hate and negative stuff is because people are in like a hurt place financially and see all these other people crushing it, and they're like, well, I'm never going to get there because like I'm, you know, so far behind or whatever. But if they just had some sort of exposure and they were even incrementally like making little gains here and there, I think that it's hard for you to like root against it. But like when you're on the outside looking in and you're mad with your own situation, like that's when you start saying hateful and negative things to people that you see be successful, because you're lashing out, like hurt people or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, and it's easy to like tell yourself lies like, oh, these all people, they all came from money, they all got family money, they all got, and it's just like, dude, I think every one of us I mean, most all of us like all came from nothing, maybe middle class, you know, whatever, and like all built this from scratch. Like at least most everyone me and you know in this hobby, and so it's still possible. I mean, dude, I remember back when me and you used to talk when I first like got in like to like the kind of like social media realm and started meeting people. Dude, we used to talk about that kind of stuff all the time about like, you know, how big some of these people were, and like, dude, like some of those numbers like people did back then seemed daunting, and now you're doing more than like most people in this hobby, and it's just like you did it from literally zero. Like, I mean, there shouldn't be much else to say about that.
Yeah, I think like to your point too about like most people coming from like humble beginnings and stuff like that. Most of the people that, yeah, like our most hard, like I know Brian said like he, you know, he was making like a regular salary or whatever, and was like always trying to start these things on the side, and then like Pokemon hit and he just like went for it, and obviously like he's crushed it. Like he committed himself to content really early before like a lot of people were taking it seriously, and like that's paid crazy dividends for him. Like he's built out this insane website, this insane like social media following. Same thing with you, like. But these aren't guys that it's like, oh, they had all the resources in the world. And if you go back 3 to 5 years ago and start watching, you know, you or Brian or even Dan or whatever, like you can see the growth over time. People see you where you're at. They see you at the finish line. They don't see what it like took to win the race or to like even get to the starting block. You know what I mean? And so it's easy to make those sorts of things. But like, I know you come from like a humble background. Like I was raised by a single mom. Like I didn't have a silver spoon. No one was paying for my college. Like I didn't have any, like I had to be scrappy and sort of get after it and stuff. But that's almost why this is even more amazing, because it takes people that didn't have any sort of leg up. And if you're willing to put the work in and commit yourself, like it can literally change your life. I think that that's crazy, because like you can't even say that now about like a college degree. Like depending on what field you're going into, like it might be tough for you to find a job. But the fact that like I've seen so many people that started out with, you know, next to nothing or whatever, or came from blue collar backgrounds, be able to like change their life and provide for their family, like that's insane. And if you're hating on
that, they tell us to do, like you're all told to like find something you enjoy and make a career out of it. Like it's what we're told to do our whole lives. It's like then you do it. You get, like,
I know.
We're like, oh no, you shouldn't be able to do that. It's like what? It's crazy.
Which is like the weird thing too. It's like, dude, if you would have told the kid version of yourself that like you would be making this kind of money off of like Pokemon or what, like you'd be stoked. But then like when you're an adult and you do it, you're a sellout. It's weird, man. Again, I think it's just a function of like hurt people, and yeah.
You're a sellout. I love it. Guys, if you guys, I know you guys have been leaving questions the whole time. If you want us to answer some questions, start leaving them now. Put just like Corey just did, leave like big capital question before it, and we'll start taking them. But yeah, man, I got Retro's link, guys, pinned to the top of the chat. It's also on the top of the description. I got his YouTube and his Instagram. Take a second, just go give him a follow, go subscribe, give a follow on Instagram. Especially if you're looking for Japanese products. And what are you doing? You're looking a little bit of everything now. I know before you were like almost you were wholesaling bundles, you were wholesaling all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like every once in a while, I have a couple buddies that get like a lot of English. I don't know if they're getting it from like distro or LGSs or whatever, but they'll like put stuff in a spreadsheet for me, and I'll like put that up for sale and like help sell stuff for them. I sold some packs for Dan too before he started doing his own like wholesale, you know, pack buy or sell list, I guess. But yeah, mainly Japanese, and then I'm doing Chinese, and I'm fulfilling the Chinese from like my, you know, house now, because I can get it for like a slightly better price, and I can get it to people quicker. And there was like weird stuff Like for the while there, like it was back and forth with like Trump and China. So like sometimes people would get hit with like a $15 tariff or $15 tariff like per case. Sometimes they wouldn't. And so finally I was like, dude, I'm tired of this. Like I don't want to have it to where people are getting like surprise fees or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy in bulk and like fulfill myself. So I do gem 1, 2, and 3 fulfilled like from within the United States. So like everything's prepaid, shipping, tariff. You don't have to worry about any of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the tariffs. I mean, the tariffs game and like the tariffs and I don't know, just everything, the VAT charges, the customs and everything. It's like, I mean, I stopped selling like on streams internationally. Like I'll sell on streams in my eBay lives. I'll sell internationally because eBay takes care of it. But man, it's becoming a nightmare. It's a mess. Like trying to calculate every country, who gets what, how much the fees are, like who's pays. It's a lot, dude. Having like a package that just comes to you at a agreed upon price without any hidden fees. That's definitely a huge up in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping things chill out a little bit. Maybe we earn some revenue for the country, and then maybe things sort of swing back towards the middle a little bit. And at least like the countries that we're like more allies with or whatever. Like I understand like the China thing being contentious or whatever, but it's like, dude, Japan, like come on, we're friends with Japan. Why are you slapping 15% tariffs on Japan? Like that seems kind of nuts, but yeah, whatever.
All right, what is this? This is the first question. Silverlight, regarding liquidity conversation, is there a limit where that becomes difficult over a 12 to 24 month period? 1, 5, 10, 20 million plus in product, assuming strong sets. Is there a time where liquidity becomes an issue? What do you think, man? You move more than I do.
Oh, to like sell it?
Yeah.
I mean, like moving $1 million of 151, I think that that's definitely possible. It might take some time, right? And it all depends on like how you want to get out of it. Like if you're going to send it all at once and you just sort of like flood the market with $1 million worth of product, like you might not get as good of percentages as you want. But like if you put booster bundles up over time and just sort of like let them sell and then like 10 sell and you raise the price slightly to be along with market, like it's pretty easy to get out of stuff. And the other thing too is like a lot of this stuff is so expensive now. So if you're talking about booster box cases, like what's Evolving Skies a case, like 15 bands, you know? So
Yeah.
like now stuff is like so concentrated to where like one item can be worth a lot and you can send that to DC Sports or whoever and get like 95% payout. So but it's kind of like the Buffett thing, like why he sits on so much cash. It's like that at a certain point, like you run out of places to deploy it, you know?
Yeah, and I would say like as long as you have like time, I mean, you can just run like a certain amount through consignment services every single week until you're all out. Or like Retro said, you can just sell it slowly over time. I think what people like, when they want to almost like sell a stock, they want that one button click. And it's like, yeah, you don't have that in Pokemon, except if you want to like go to a few big buyers and you want to take like 80% or 85%, you could probably get out of $1 million like that. You could sell it to a few different people, a few hundred grand each person. But then they'll say, well, I don't want 80%. But it's just like, okay, well, your 151 and went up like 6x. In that same amount of time, the market went up like 30%. And you're worried about taking 80% of 6x and you're complaining that it's not as liquid as a stock market. Like that's where like, people lose me. I'm just like, I just told you a way it's almost just as liquid. Just give it to 80%. You'll probably sell it in a day to a few different people. Well, yeah, but I'm taking 80%. 80% of 6x.
Yeah, I mean it's more active. It's all these different levers you can pull, right? Like if you want like less risk and like you said, you want the one click stuff, then like you can invest in the market, but you might have to like expect less. In Pokemon, like you can potentially expect more, but you're gonna have to do more work to get out of it at the percentage that you want. And again, like you don't necessarily have to take 80% if you're trying to if you're not trying to dump it like all immediately at once. You know what I mean? So that's why it's smart that guys like you and Brian have built up these businesses because like, let's say you're invested in bundles or packs or whatever, like at a certain point when you hit a price target on a thing, like you can just start opening stuff, right? Like to sell it immediately onto your stream type thing. So having like these different liquidity channels is really important. And there's more of those than ever. But yeah, it's just, I think you need to think backwards, like before you buy something, like how am I going to get out of this for like the best price, So for some people investing in booster boxes and cases might be the move because they don't have a channel to where like they can get a good percentage on like bundles or whatever, right? Like they don't have like a name built up selling or anything like that. And if you send like bundles off, it's less value per thing. So like shipping and fees takes up a higher percentage of the item than like sending a whole case off, you know what I mean? And selling that and get 95% of that.
Agreed. Crunchy Cheetos or cheese puffs?
Flaming hot
I'll take the
Cheetos, bro.
crunchies.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Surging Sparks or Twilight Masquerade, dude. I gotta take Surging. Like, I mean, it's deeper than just the Pikachu. Like I get a lot of people like the Greninja more than the Pikachu, but it's deeper, man. That's just I feel is so much deeper than Twilight Masquerade.
I agree 100%. I think it's probably the most undervalued box in Scarlet and Violet right now, personally.
Yeah. Let's see. We got ourselves. Question for Alex. Oh, just me. Do you ever liquidate your sealed collection through your rip and ship since you have it at a lower cost basis and don't have to sell large boxes that carry more risk? I haven't really sold any large boxes that carry more risk. I've definitely like ripped cases for like our random box nights. Like I'll rip a case of Stellar Crown or Paradox Rift to like throw in them. But I sold off all of my Sun and Moon XY boxes when I paid my house off. So I don't really, I mean, I guess Evolving Skies. I'm not running my Evolving Skies through them. I guess on their largest box I own would be like Fusion Strike, which I'm not running those. So not really large boxes, but yeah, I'll do that with boxes sometimes if I'm just like trying to. A lot of times it's not because I want to move them. It's because we don't have any. And it's between like going to the card shops and paying full market price or pulling a case off the shelf to fulfill the break and then like figuring a way to like replace it later type thing. It doesn't happen often, but like sometimes if we're in a pinch and I haven't got a lot of collection buys, you got to do what you got to do type thing. It is what it is. Retro, do you invest in Japanese and Chinese or you just sell it and invest in English?
I invest in a little bit of Japanese, but like most of my investment is primarily English for sure. I have like some 151 in Japanese and some V Star and like a few other things, but most of that stuff I try to just like load up on when I feel like it's at a good price, and then like wait for it to hit a price target and start offloading it. Whereas the English stuff, like I haven't sold anything over the past couple of years. Like I've just been sitting on it, and I think it's going to keep going higher. I think like we were talking about earlier, I think Japanese tends to plateau. So that's why, like, once it sort of hits a price that I'm happy with, like, cool, I double, triple my money, whatever. Like, you know, I'm down to sell out of most of the position and keep it rolling. Chinese is I don't invest in any Chinese personally. It sells insanely well, but I'm not entirely sure how like the investment returns are going to be.
You're not buying Black Label Gengar Pikachus?
No, not personally. I think it's cool, and like I said, liquidity on it is really high, but I don't know that buying Gem 2 at, 50, $60 a box or whatever, like if you're going to see $120 boxes in 5 years, like I'm not entirely sure on that. It's too high a risk for not enough like guaranteed upside. If it performs really well over like the next 2 to 3 years and we have some like data to look back on, that might be different. But at least right now, like I think there's plenty of English stuff and Japanese stuff that you can buy that seems like a better use of money. So.
Yeah, I think that's always the question is like, where else could I be putting this money? Where's the better use? Like and you're never going to get it like 100% right. But I mean, I think that always needs to be the question when you're thinking about putting money into something like, dude, especially with the One Piece boom, people are like, are you buying this? Like, no, I'm not buying a $750 One Piece box. Like there's like a ton of English Pokemon I want to buy for $750, And, I think it gets to that point where it's just like, where can the money be better spent and what you think is going to rise faster. And that's where it really, everyone's going to differ, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, prismatic bundles were just like $50, and like to me, that was like a way better buy. So like I bought like a lot of prismatic because like that seems like a really good price to me. So, and maybe it doesn't move tomorrow, but I feel like that that at $50 versus like a Chinese box at $50, I feel like that has way more upside.
It's funny if you put a 151 bundle chart on top of a prismatic chart, it looks almost identical. So like a year ago when 151 was the same, like, a year and 4 months from being out of print where prismatic is now, it was right around $60-$65. And then it ran to where it's at now in that year. And so like, I'm speculating that's likely going to be the path prismatic takes. Like this time next year, it's probably going to be around $100+ a bundle. And so like, I think that's probably the best chance you have to double your money this year. If you can get them at $50, that seems crazy good.
Yeah. And the crazy thing too about like prismatic versus 151 is prismatic. They printed like 10, 12 different SKUs. For 151, it was like Blooming Waters, the UPC, and like maybe one or two other things. Like they've printed so much random stuff with prismatic packs in it. So even if it's like stayed down or stayed stagnant for like a longer period of time, that they printed more of it clearly, or at least it feels that way, like the pack specifically. So I just feel like at a certain point when those get eaten up, the sealed stuff is just gonna rip.
I mean, I know Dan keeps like really good track of his like pack rip numbers, and I know you talk up to tons of streamers that you sell to. Like I stream. Is there anyone that you talk to that Prismatic is not like the most open set on their stream? Unless they're like Japanese sellers only or something like. But like, dude, everyone I talk to, I think is Prismatic is the most open set still today, and it's a year old.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like not super expensive per pack. And when you compare it to like some of these other sets that the packs are really expensive and the hit rates like are not great, and like the upside on the pack, like there's no god pack or anything like that. So yeah, it's I don't know. Like they printed a lot of it for sure, but like I think it's gonna do really really well long term. And a lot of it too is just like it's a full EV set. Like don't bet against like a full evolution set. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
it's kind
Evolving
of like
Skies has what, like four or five in there?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to age really well. I think like people that are buying it right around now, like a year from now, they're going to be very, very happy they did.
Yeah.
Especially as some of these other packs get really, really expensive. Like I could see Crown Zenith going to like, $25-$30 a pack this year at least. And so if that stuff starts to happen, then I feel like it'll push the price of these other specialty sets like Paldean Fates and stuff like that. I feel like, these can gap to like $15 a pack.
100% agree, man. How would you recommend someone to start and scale a business this year? That's a hard one.
Just get started, man. Like it's, put one foot. There's no perfect thing. I mean, I would say like figure out what you like to do. Like if you're good at going to shows and sourcing raw cards to grade and stuff like that, I mean, maybe you can start doing that. I know turnaround times are a lot longer than they used to be. So maybe you're buying more expensive cards that you can turn around quicker and you're not doing like as much volume. Maybe you're only buying like 5 or 10 cards at a time, but you can afford to send them in like a higher tier kind of thing. I think grading is like the lowest barrier to entry with like the highest percentage return, but like it does take a little experience learning to pre-grade and stuff like that. And then just like taking small amounts of money over and over and over again with like zero downside. So like if you can make a relationship with somebody and you can buy like let's say you go to these shows and you make a relationship with somebody that like consistently has packs or something like that, and they're like charging $7.50 for X pack, and down the street this LGS that you have a decent relationship with is like selling packs at like $10, $11 or whatever of that same set. You can go and buy this dude out and have them pre-sold at the shop and just be like, hey, like I'll buy these 100 at 750, take them to the shop over here, sell them for $8, $9 or whatever. They can make a margin, I can make my margin, and it's pre-sold, and just like start stacking those little gains over and over in networking, like that kind of stuff. Anyone can do. Anyone can put like a little bit on top and match a buyer and seller. So
Yeah, and like the only thing I would add would just feel like try a bunch of different things that you see a lot of other people successful with. I feel like there's somebody successful at every single thing in this hobby. Like whether it's they're vendors, they're got bulk operations, they run card shops, they wholesale, they stream, they grade, they do it. Find out, like try a little bit of everything, see what you like. You're not gonna like everything. I tried vending, I hated vending, right? So I tried something
me
else.
too.
Like
Me too. I hate it.
yeah, I mean, so everyone likes something different. Find what you like and then just focus on that. You don't have to do everything to be successful. Pick one or a few things that you enjoy, pour all your energy into that, and just build that up. Like that's how you do it here. I see a lot of people trying to do too much. I feel like they're trying to like invest in too much. They're trying to like do too much, and it's just like, like kind of like you did. Like once you build that vertical, then you can kind of start building like other horizontal, like, growth off of it. But it's like in the beginning, man, you got to pour yourself into like a few things you believe in to really kind of get that trajectory. Then you can start hiring employees and going into other areas and things. But trying to do too much and like diversify your time too much in the beginning, I don't think it's really the best way.
Yeah, 100%.
Galaxy Card Shop. Thoughts on the future of the slab market with the rise of digital rips?
What do you think?
I really like digital rips. I wish I had a way to run them on my channel. Hint, hint. Now, me and Galaxy have already talked. I hope in the future there's a way to do that. Because yeah, I mean it's great, right? Like the instant buyback feature, right? Where you can get the instant payouts where you know, if you didn't get the card you wanted, you can try again for, you know, just a fraction of less than what you paid. You know, if you do hit something and you do want to cash out of it, there's a way to do that. You can always get sent the physical product. It's not just a digital product. You're actually buying something physical, and you can always just click that button and have it mailed to you, and you can still buy it. I mean, I like pretty much every aspect of it. What do you feel about it?
I don't know. I've thought about. I think a lot of nice stuff is gonna start disappearing or like gapping up in price. I've kind of thought about it, like maybe trying to make content around it. I've thought about like taking some money and like building a little hedge fund and like specking on certain slabs kind of thing. I think a lot of some of the nicer stuff, some of the rarer stuff, I think could see a decent gap up this year. Like I still think that there's a lot of room to grow on stuff that is like not infinitely replenishable. And I feel like a lot of the people that hit these cards, that maybe they're down $400, and if they hit a $500 card, like they're gonna take the payout just to get back to even. So that card stays in the vault. Now a certain percentage of collectors, like maybe they get lucky, they open one pack and they get like a chase card, and you know they get it sent to them or whatever. But I think a lot of like some of this low pop stuff, some of these promos, and not only that, but like celebrity is sort of pushing like the rare exclusivity sort of stuff. Like right now with like Logan, you know, selling the Illustrator and stuff like that. I feel like that is going to spread out horizontally into like other trophy cards, other rare promos, stuff like that, because the more celebrities that get into this, the more people with like big institutional sorts of money, they're going to go after that kind of stuff. I think personally. So I think that there's trophy cards, trophy adjacent type stuff, that kind of stuff I'm most bullish on the growth over like the next 2 years, let's say.
I get this kind of question all the time. Question for both. Went to a card show as a customer, was looking to trade up plus cash on my end. Nobody was into my sealed product, only my slabs. Not one table cared about my sealed. Why is that? I see people say it all the time, and like they go to card shows and like a sealed or a certain product isn't liquid. One, dude, I don't know what you were selling. I don't know how much you were asking for it. And you know, two, I mean, depending on what the card show was, this is a very small fraction of the hobby, where you can log on eBay or TCG Player and probably see multiple of whatever you're trying to sell go daily. And so it's either the combination of the price point you were asking, maybe if it was a niche item or something, or just too small of a sample size. I mean, just a few vendors at a show isn't really that good of a indication. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. And like maybe those vendors that you were trying to like sell or trade or whatever, like maybe they don't really have good outlets for sealed. So it might not have even been that like your item is bad. It just didn't work for like that specific vendor because they're like, all right, well, I'm probably not going to sell this at the show. I don't really have anywhere to sell this if I take it home type thing. So yeah, I mean, but if it was a bunch of like auxiliary stuff or like weird stuff like blister packs or something like that, if it's a booster box or a booster box case, like you're going to be able to sell that and get a good percentage of market if you put it on like eBay or TCG Player. Or I see like DJ's Poke Center, like he says, like I'd buy this sealed all day. Like I'm sure depending on the size of your collection, like you hit him up and you know he'll pay you out a decent percentage and buy your sealed off you. So there's tons of options, man.
Okay, here we go. This is going for having retro here. For specifically your Pokemon compound annual growth rate targets that you try to achieve. Obviously, the goal for highest return. Do these goals influence your risk and take? So it's funny, like in my Patreon Discord, people, dude, they're talking about Kagger like all the time in there. And dude, I honestly, I mean, some people, dude, they take their investing serious. I don't even take it as serious as a lot of people. So I want to hear Retro talk on this, since he's got the almost finance degree, or he was at least close into that world, dude. I'm removed from like that world. Like, I don't, honestly, man, I don't think you'd have to be that financially sound to be very successful with investing, especially in this hobby, even the stock market. It's really just growth over time, continue to contribute, continuing to compound. But if you're really diving into the compound annual growth rate targets, Retro, take it away, man. What do you think about this?
Well, I think that's when it comes down to like, is this an investment or a trade, and like the mindset going into it? Like if you're making a trade, then like maybe Kager matters, but Crown Zenith is a perfect example. Those packs were like $2-3. You know what I mean? And if you bought like the Sam's Club Sea and Sky bundles, like you could get pallets of those. They just sat on Sam's Club, right? You were in those packs for like $2-3. If you would have set a compound annual growth rate of like 300% even, you would have been missing out. Because what are those packs now? Like 14, $15, right? So like that's the difference there. Is like, well, are you in this for a trade because you like want it to go to X price target and then immediately turn around and put that money into something else? But a lot of the time, just like sitting on stuff and being patient, again, if you're looking at it as an investment and not worrying about like, okay, do I sell this exactly when it gets to 200%? Because a lot of the time, like you're going to leave a lot on the table. So I think you should have like a CAGR or a not even a CAGR, because you probably, if you're doing it as a flip or a trade, like probably shouldn't be like annualized. It should be like quicker turnaround, but set like a percentage on whatever item that you're happy to get. But like with the investment stuff is like, dude, if you sit on a lot of this stuff, you're going to outperform even like what you think it can go to. If you're trying to buy a car, pay out some debt or like something like that, like that's one thing. Then you're like, okay, well, when this gets to $10,000, I can pay my car off, kind of thing. Like I get that. But if you're trying to like make the most money over time and you're not in a position to where you have to sell, this stuff has been outperforming what I thought it would do. You know what I mean? So even Destined, right? Like, which I made the bet with Dan on. Like, I bought I can't remember what I paid for the cases, like a little over 200 at release. I would have been happy if the boxes went to 250. Like I was stoked on 250, and they're at like what, like 400, 350 now. Yeah. That's way more than I thought it would do in this short period. Like I was stoked with 250. I was like, cool, little 20% gain or whatever. Like I think that's possible, right? And it's way outperformed me. So I think maybe like doing too much is potentially going to like end up losing you money over time because you might sell too early. So.
Here's what I do, guys. If a lot of you, I don't care if you're in the VU or the SPY or, if you're in any type of mutual funds, it's very simple, man. Like just go check your growth. Go check your growth. I'm sure you're having your dividends being reinvested. They're compounding. Go check what your performance was that year and whatever you have in your other investments. And then go compare that to your Pokemon performance. Like that should tell you right there. Like you don't really have to get too technical with it. I don't get technical at all with my investments. Like I literally just compare the gains. I compare, I look at I do a risk analysis on, what I feel like, the risk is, maybe give it a standard deviation or two. And I just go with it. Like, I don't break it down by every percentage point and everything, because realistically, like time and just patience is going to outweigh any like extra percent here, percent there is really going to get you. I think that's the biggest thing people miss with investing. It's not even being in the right or wrong investments. It's just not giving it enough time. It really is. What is the most repeatable method to consistently source sealed product? A program like yours or Eli's? Well, Eli's is closed, unfortunately. There's not even enough product to go around. A marketplace or collection buyouts. I just want a pain-free way to reputable source. Jimbo, I want one of those too, man.
Yeah, it's not easy. I guess I would just say like figure out for whatever item it is, figure out a price that you're okay with paying. Put like buying posts out there or whatever and see if anybody bites, and then just kind of like go for it. Like I personally, I don't have like a big distribution account or anything like that. So I'm subject to buying stuff on the secondary market for investment. So like when stuff comes up at a perfect, like not a perfect price, but like a pretty good price, I don't worry about like what this guy got his for, because it's like, well, this is what I can get it for. And do I want exposure to this? And if the answer is yes, like I'm going to buy it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, hear this one. Don't degen into Pokemon. Do both. Yeah, look, guys, look. Every single video I post, I could probably pick a comment out in every single one of my videos. No joke, like 100% of them, where someone's always reminding someone in the comment section not to go all in on Pokemon, to make sure you have a Roth IRA, make sure you invest in stocks, make sure you invest in real estate, all this other stuff. Look, you have to make your own decisions. If you don't want to do this stuff, no one's here is trying to tell you to. The reason I go as hard as I do, right? I take the Warren Buffett approach where he says, if you're ignorant to investing, you want to be diversified. If you understand how to value things, if you're, very capable of whatever you're doing, that's when you don't want to diversify and you want to be, have a select few. I think he said he usually had like 5 to 7 stocks, and, you know how to value company, and you just devote all your money to those. That's how I feel about Pokemon. I feel sound. I feel safe. I understand the risk involved, and I think I can do better in this. So I, have a large portion of my net worth, more than half of it, in Pokemon, and I'm going to continue to do that. And it's going to work or it's not going to work. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, if it's like keeping you up at night, then yeah, have a very small amount. Like that's the best thing I can tell you, because if you're at the point where you're not really sure, you don't really know what to do, like it's all over the place, then that's when you just diversify it out, maybe buy one of every box, one of every case, and put the rest in something safe. Like that's my best advice. I don't know about you, man.
No, I agree with you. Like I think I think a lot of people sometimes think that investment YouTubers or whatever are trying to like convince them to buy something. And it's,
No.
I don't really see it like that. And I'm sure there's channels out there that maybe do that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I see it as like, here's what I'm doing and here's why. You can do it if you want to. Like you can go along with this. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. But like, here's what I'm doing and here's why. And then that comes with context too. Like, hey, I run this business. I've been here for a while. Like I have, a Patreon going or a big YouTube channel, social media presence, whatever. Like it has these little like intangible nuances or whatever. But like it's not like you need to buy this right now or you're a loser. Like I don't see that. But like I don't watch a ton of guys like other than you and Brian and Dan and stuff like that. So like maybe that is happening, but I don't see that. And it's not saying like you have to do this or whatever. It's just like, yo, this is what's worked for us. And when you have sort of an edge in a market, which I would argue like we kind of do, like we're not going to perfectly time everything or whatever, but like again, you don't have to. You just sort of let time do its thing. You make as many good decisions as possible. You buy stuff when you feel like it's at a good price, and like overall, like we've done okay. But again, like our lives and like our liquidity outlets and all that sort of stuff might be different than some random person watching the video on the internet. So I think that's why it's important not to say like, you should do this. It's just like, here's what I'm doing. Here's all the nuance and all this stuff, but like, here's why I believe in this. And I think that's okay to do. Like, I think it's weird to hate on people for like putting that out there. But again, like the longer it continues to be proven right, it's kind of like, all right, well, like, what are you even saying at this point? You know what I mean? It's not to say
I've tried, dude. I've tried to tone it down this year. Like I've made an active like decision to try to tone my videos down, but like I don't think I know a way to like almost like report what I'm doing and like give you my thoughts without, I guess, it coming across like I'm telling people to do it. I think it's really hard. Like it's like in some sort of way, if I tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing, and then you see like, oh, the stuff he's doing has been successful, they're gonna think, oh, I need to do this, and I don't think there's any way to stop that kind of thought process.
Yeah, I think overall though, like people watching, I think even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the amount of people with a base level knowledge of financial literacy was so much lower. And I think you are going to get bad advice here and there on the internet, but I think for the most part, there being investment YouTubers, there being like stock market YouTubers, Pokemon investing YouTubers, I think it's an overall net positive in the sense that it's given people a very baseline on like market psychology and like just financial literacy and stuff like that, and like understanding risk and like all these different options. And I think that is a net positive for people. Like, sure, people are they're going to misinterpret things and make bad decisions here and there, but I think in the aggregate, most people being exposed to this kind of content, I'd like to believe it's been a net positive for most people, Yeah. So do you feel that way? Like, do you think you're helping people, like helping more people than you're hurting?
Just by what I've been sent, dude. I mean, it's probably up to over like 100 messages at this point over the years now. Like, dude, I get sent messages all the time. People like thanking me. Like I've saved a lot of them. I've saved a lot of them. I've screenshotted them, or I put in my email, like save files. Like it's just the amount of people that have reached out and said they were able to like, some people have paid off their houses now because they've been rocking for like, 3 years with the channel and stuff. Other people like, be able to take this vacation they always wanted to, buy this car, do this house update, like, or their portfolios at X, 6 figures or whatever. That's like, it's changed their life or whatever. I've seen so many people like literally change their situations, change their lives based on with this hobby, with like taking a chance off what we were saying, letting time do its thing, like making the right plays. And my question always is like, where was that money going before? Like, where was that money going before you found like my channel or your channel or like these other things? It's like, was it just being blown? Were you wasting it? It's like, was it really worse off like putting that money into Pokemon cards or going to that like concert that weekend? Did you really miss it? Or going out to eat that extra dinner? Or like, I think about that. I'm just like, well, if all these people had this money to invest into Pokemon, what were they doing with that money before they were doing this? So I think it's definitely a net positive.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think a lot of people too, like they think that only rich people invest, and it's kind of going. It's like, where was that money going before? Like, if you're trying to get ahead, you think like, oh, I don't have enough money to invest, but it's like you're thinking about it wrong. Like you're spending money on something, like you're buying yourself coffee or Monster Energy drinks or whatever, and you're like, well, I don't have enough money to invest. It's like, dude, how much was that Monster? Like $5? How much was that coffee? $10? You could have put that in the stock market. You could have put that in Pokemon. You could have put that into building a side hustle or a YouTube or whatever. Like, I think people have it backwards a little bit where they're like, I have to be rich to invest. And it's not the truth. Like you can start small and like literally anybody can do this. but it's like, are you going to do that? You know, like, are you
Yeah.
going to make the sacrifices? And that's the other thing people don't see too, is like, investing comes with sacrifice. It comes with discipline. And so people think like, oh, like you're cocky when stuff went up, but it's like, it's kind of like if you were out of shape or something and you got like shredded, you know, like don't go on the internet and be like, I'm, you know, Atlas king of the world or whatever type thing or whatever. But it's like, dude, I worked for this. You know what I mean? Like I made sacrifices. I stopped eating the kind of stuff I enjoyed eating. I you know, limited my calories. I made healthier meals for myself. I worked out 3 to 5 times a week. Like I'm proud of myself. And so it's the same thing with this. It's like, if you're making sacrifices, building a business or investing and deferring, that's all investing is deferring future consumption, you know? So like, if you're deferring, if you're deferring like having fun now for later so that you can set yourself up for a better position, I think it's okay to be proud of yourself within reason that like these things have worked out for you because you have sacrificed to get there. And I think people miss that and they just want to criticize people and think that like, oh, you're just cocky or whatever. But it's like, dude, like I did something to get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's limiting beliefs too. Like people have very limiting beliefs in themselves, you know, because of whatever their environment or people have told them. And it's just like, dude, I mean, a couple $100, like here, if you have a lot of money, you can make money off your money. If you don't have a lot of money, hopefully you have a lot of time, right? Because you know what you can do with that time? You can go out to these card shows. Dude, there's so many vendors that don't grade cards. You can spend, I did it. I was out there grinding. I was going to card shows and collecticons and looking at every booth and finding booths where the people didn't grade and going through every one of their cards and getting stacks of cards I could grade and making exponential money. Like, dude, a couple $100 with the right grades can turn into a couple $1,000 like that. And now with GameStop grading everything for you, take it to them, grade it. You don't trust GameStop, take it to your local card shops. Everyone's a certified PSA dealer at this point now. Have them grade it. You send it in, grade it and everything. And it's like the access to get into this hobby, I think, is easier than it was when probably we got in. And so it's just like, it just takes going out and grinding. And it's just like, everyone starts from the bottom. Like, no, none of us started like doing big things. We all started from the ground. We watched everyone that was making all kind of money, big plays, all these giant pallets and everything. And you just start building brick by boring brick. And like we talked about earlier, you're going to lose some, you're going to win some. As long as you keep winning more than you lose and the wins are more exponential than the losses, it just snowballs. And then you look back like 6 months, a year later, you're like, holy crap, I built something here. What was I doing before? Like laying on the couch? What was I doing with my money before? Just blowing it? Like I built something here just because I was intentional.
Yeah, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine for you specifically, being right publicly and the vindication of like being sort of crapped on for a long time and being argued with and then being right publicly, that was probably huge. But I imagine like what was more rewarding was the fact that like you meaningfully changed your life. And like I remember you made that video where like you paid your house off or whatever, and like you seemed genuinely happy. Like I imagine that payoff of the personal fulfillment was so much more massive than even like, ha ha ha, like I'm right on YouTube. And like, obviously that's catapulted you and now you have this massive platform, but being able to like take care of your personal like finances and family and like, you know, alleviate all that risk. Like, is that the case, would you say? Or were you more happy that you just sort of like got to take a victory lap?
No, it's definitely fun being right. But no, yeah, that, and I'm telling you, also, it's the, dude, some of these emails, some of these like messages you get sent, it like, dude, almost like makes you tear up. Like some of these people just like tell you these stories about how much you changed their life and like how watching the videos and taking action, like all the change, dude, like that's right up there with almost like my own like financial accomplishments in the hobby. Like it's seeing the change like you've helped other people make it financially. That's honestly worth that's worth every bit of hate I've ever gotten online, every hate comment, everyone like, dude, that's worth more than it all. Like I could care less. Like I could get 1,000 more hate comments. If I get one more of those messages, it makes it all worth it. You know, the being right thing, like, yeah, that's fun. Like, yeah, you get to like, you know, bragging rights here and there, but you know, dude, there's nothing better than like, dude, just seeing people like happy and like fulfill, like confident, like, and you know, because like you know how good it feels yourself. And so you know what they're going through and what like their family's feeling and like, you know, like what they've done for their family and how they're like, you know, perceived and things. And you're just like, man, it's really cool that like picking up this camera and making these videos did that. Right.
Does like the negative stuff get to you still? Like, do you still
No.
get like, you're like, I'm not trying to, But like, do your feelings get hurt at all when people like do you feel like you're taken out of context and people maybe like don't understand? Like, I know you like playing, you know, the pot stirrer a little bit, and like I respect that. It makes for great content and stuff. But like, when people like attack you, do you feel? Yeah, like how does that like are you able to just completely tune it out? Or are you kind of like, hey, I feel a little misunderstood here? Like, how do you react to that stuff?
Well, I mean, nowadays it's like completely tune it out, but no, definitely in the beginning, like 1, 2, 3,000 subscribers, when like, you know, basically everyone like that you're trying to like kind of be part of like the group of is all kind of like, you know, like not really, he doesn't want you in, like, you know, kind of shitting on you or whatever. And like, you know, you getting the hate videos made and all that, that definitely was, that hurt. That definitely hurt. And then when, I'm not going to name any names, but like when people that you felt like you're really close with, that you're really good friends with, kind of like betray you and things like that, that hurt. Like that definitely hurt. Other than that, no, man. Like, you know, Opossum Bud will come out with another video trashing me, or like, you know, Kira now, like she's one of the other drama channels, or like, you know, they'll come out with videos all the time saying, you know, picking something out of context I said and making a video on it. And to be honest, dude, the videos get views. Like that's why people do it. Like I don't take it too personally of any of that. It's more of like the relationships that fell apart, or like when I was really early and I felt like my channel was almost getting what's the word? Like discredited. Like your channel's like getting discredited because like all of like the who's who and like the investing or business space is talking about how stupid you are and like, oh, it's a clown and all that. And it's like, so that now that I'm past that and the channel's growing, we're like a size now where it's like, no, I really don't care. But yeah, definitely some parts here and there were like pretty rough.
Yeah, that's fair. To be fair, I always tried to play mediator. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember that, but I always tried to be in like the middle and be like, "Hey guys, like let's give Alex a chance here." Like I remember
you did.
the
Dude,
first live stream.
no joke. I miss those days the most, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish we could all squash the beef with like, you know, Pokenomics and some of those guys, dude. Those times were like fun, man. Like getting on and like having those debates. Cause like, here's the thing. The content games change where it's just like, you know, like it's so much nonsense and drama and like clickbait and like people playing like characters and stuff. Dude, back then it's like we all got together and had like legitimate like financial Pokemon market debates, and like everyone had their own takes and we go back and forth. But it was never just like, I don't know. I didn't think it was ever like that serious until like it got serious. But dude, I miss those, man. Those were some of the funnest like streams we ever had back then.
100%. I feel like that disagreement was healthy. Like I don't know, man. Like people that have only come in over the past like I'm sure there's plenty of good channels that are killing it. But back when like the investing stuff was smaller and it like you would get on and be like, ooh, Friday night, like my three favorite dudes are gonna like go at it and argue with each other and stuff like
Well,
that.
here's the thing. Everyone had like, dude, I feel like now it's almost like it's like the Gen Z mentality taking over or something. It's just like everyone was supposed to get on like meme on each other or just like make jokes or like, you know, like play a character, or just like, you know, back then it's like everyone was having like legitimate like talks, and like you had differences in opinions and disagreements, but it was like you still felt like you were having conversations with intelligent people who just saw things different than you, and like you respected like that. But like now it's like I can't even have conversations with some of the people, and like it's like, dude, come on, like this is all a joke to you, you know?
Yeah, I think given enough time, like a lot of relationships will be mended. I think like look, dude, when everybody's like being so successful and has come so far, like you see people at a show or whatever, just because, you know, like you tend to gravitate towards like, you know, businesses that are doing well or whatever. It's just like, look, dude, like maybe we had a disagreement in the past or whatever, but like I'm happy you're doing well, you know, and like
Yeah.
at the base of all of this, like we're all into the brand. We've all been able to build something here. And so like the disagreements over modern versus vintage or PSA versus CGC, like that stuff doesn't really matter ultimately. Like if we can
Yeah.
coexist in this market and everybody can do well, like more bees with honey kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's like anything in life, right? Like, I mean, I think like whenever you have like a bunch of people like you know, coming against you in anything that you're trying to do, it always makes you like question or become like kind of like I don't know, like less confident, you know, whether it's like starting a business, like if you got like friends or family members telling you like, it's not going to work, or you should just go back and get a job or whatever, just make that more part-time thing. It's like, I feel like that was like more of the content side. I think that's why in the beginning, it was so much more like it affected me a lot more. But then as you grow and like, then you like make money, your business becomes successful, your investments pay off. Like you get so much confidence. You're just like, dude, I don't give a crap. Like, yeah, say whatever you want. You're wrong. Like you could talk whatever you want, but you are wrong. You know, it's like, so I think like the more success you have, the more confidence and like the less it bothers you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What about you, man? Like, what's been the hardest thing for you? Like, 'cause I know you've like been on and off of content where you'll just like delete the whole channel. I know like you were on Discord, you left Discord, like you've been like on and off of social media. Like what's been the driving factor of that? Is it just like not being in like being in the public eye, or is it what do you think?
No, not like so. Like I've been like a performer like my entire life, like doing music and stuff like that. So it's not that so much, but like I'm really hard on myself, and if I'm like, oh, this isn't providing value or this is not high quality, it's not because I'm like ashamed of like a take I've given or something like that. But usually I'll just get like in a funk and I'll be like, oh, this is crappy content, like delete it. And that's kind of what happened last time is I just like took everything down because I was like, like I don't really think that this is good quality or whatever. It's providing value. And like maybe that's just being too hard on myself. I don't know. But it's just, dude, like running this by myself and like pushing myself as hard as I have, like social media for me, at least personally, I'm not saying it's this way for everybody, but it's taxing on like my mental health for sure. Like, especially like the negativity and that kind of stuff. And so like, I had to distance myself from that a little bit, to like stay sane and keep the business running and all that sort of stuff. But now I'm kind of at a point to where, like I'm hiring people, I'm trying to take like better like care of myself and stuff like that, and not just be like business like 24/7. And I think content is just, it's really important. And like I'm trying to provide, I don't know, like helpful tips for people like growing, like whether it's business or like lifestyle, or like I'm trying to take that serious this year moving forward. I think it's really important for business. And yeah, and I don't know, like I've seen you guys be so successful, like Brian, and I think Dan's at like almost 10,000 subscribers, and
He
you
is,
like,
dude.
yeah, like you guys have been doing really well and stayed consistent with it. And I'm just like, and like I'll watch your stuff and I'm like, I miss talking to these guys. Like I miss being in the same space like with these guys, like everybody sort of hashing out their ideas, talking about what they're seeing in the market. Like I kind of miss that, and like this business, if you're not plugged in, sometimes it's like it can be really isolating because you're like at home packing orders, like working from home. So I miss sort of like being involved and like hearing what you guys have to say, and just being a part of the conversation. So I think that's a part of it too.
It's weird. I just think the grass is always greener. It's like, because I'll look at like you and other people who have like businesses that, outside of social media. And I'm just like, man, like that must be so great, dude. Like, you're not, your whole business isn't like revolving around the content and like, all that. And like it's like, with me, it's like I'm making the videos, I'm constantly streaming. It's just like, my whole business is basically wrapped around the content. Whereas you're just kind of behind the scenes. Like, sure, you're making posts on Instagram and like some Discords and stuff. But other than that, like, it's nice to have like kind of the two worlds separated where one's not dependent on the other. So it's just like, I mean, I definitely like your side of the lawn just as much, man.
Yeah, well, I think part of it too, like to your point about Discord, like I used to be in Discord all the time and like have voice chats with people, and they're fun. Like they are, like being able to just like hop in, get in a conversation, like that's great. But
It's time consuming.
it's a massive time sink.
Yeah.
So like I just had to discount, and at the point, it's like we used to talk a lot like 3 years ago, and like all the people that I do business with and know and and all that sort of stuff. I feel like we used to talk more often like 2-3 years ago, because the past couple of years everybody's just been like head down trying to grow the business. At a certain point, you're going to get to a point to where like a lot of your stuff is automated, you have employees doing stuff for you, and then we can all like spend time hanging out or talking again, right? Like it requires that sort of like sacrifice and grind a little bit. And I'm trying to, yeah, like I said, like I'm still trying to like grow this year and keep growing the business and stuff like that. But like I really want to like have conversations with people that I'm interested in what they have to say, and I think that they're smart and they're doing really well in the business too. Like, and I want to make it a point to dedicate a portion of my time to like maintaining those relationships, because if we work this hard all in the same industry but like don't have friends or like aren't, it's like what was this all for ultimately? Like when you zoom out and think about like what a quality life looks like, don't you want to like have friends that are all like crushing it and you're all happy and successful together, and you can go out and go golfing or go out to dinner or whatever and like have a good time outside of this? Like, why did you kill yourself building these businesses if you can't enjoy life on the other side of it? And that's personally what I'm trying to do this year, is like take more time to like actually enjoy people and enjoy life, you know?
Dude, 100%. And you know what? Like you hear that in every industry. Like everyone's like talking about how it's just like, yeah, your relationships will eventually suffer when you're wanting to, grow a business. And it's just like I've experienced the same exact thing. There's so many people that, like I always want to talk to more, catch up with more, like, and you just, sometimes time just keeps going on. You're just filled with tasks. This is the weirdest business because like obviously like everyone's done different stuff, but like, dude, you see like freaking landscape jobs where you come home so physically exhausted that you just crash, right? This is not a physical exhausting job, but dude, there's so many tasks every day that like somehow you have no free time from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. And it's just like your mind's always going, you're mentally exhausted, you have so many deals working, so many moving parts. And it's just such a different world than I'm used to. It's just like with the labor industry is like, yeah, there's some thought involved, but you're never mentally exhausted after work. Like, dude, you just get so mentally exhausted that like even what little time you do have, it's just like, man, I just want to sit here. I don't know if I really want to, I can't even think to conversate with someone right now. I'm so fried. And it just, I 100% agree with that. I want to get to the point where like, you can kind of have better relationships again and talk to people more because, and like, I told myself at the beginning or like, I guess late 2024, I'm like, okay, things are getting crazy. I'm like, I need to go all in. And I told my wife that I'm like, I'm just going to be working nonstop. It's all I'm going to be doing. This is going to be a huge opportunity. Like we have to take full advantage of it. And I've done that. And I'm just like, well, once it slows down, we'll be able to do more stuff. I'm going to slow down more. It isn't slowing down. And so like, we're just still in this like infinite grind mode. And I'm just like, well, one day the market is going to slow and we'll have time to do all these things. We'll take a vacation. We'll do that. It just ain't there yet. And it's just like, man, it's grueling. It's grueling.
Here's the thing though. I think even if the market slows down, your business will continue to like trend up into the right over time. And I think that that's true for a lot of people in this space, regardless of what the market does. I think people are going to continually accrue market share if they continue to do good business. And so I think getting in front of it now and hiring people and delegating tasks, I know it's tough because it's like you build this yourself, it's your baby, that sort of thing. But like you start delegating tasks now, like it's some Alex Hormozy thing, but he's like, if your business needs you to operate, you don't have a business, you have a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's,
oh yeah. I mean, I know this, like, yeah, you need to be working on your business, not in your business. I know these things. It's so hard to do.
yeah, well, and you are the focal point of a lot of what you do, right? Because like you
Yeah.
built the content, so like people expect to see you on stream. So it's kind of tough to be like, hey, maybe I tried this guy, doing streaming once or twice a week. Like, are as many people gonna show up and make purchases? So like, I totally get that, but I think I genuinely think whatever the market does, everybody's gonna still be crushing and doing fine. So I think setting up your lifestyle now to where like you're not going to get burnt out and you don't need to rely on like a slowdown to like take time spending time with your friends or family or whatever. Like, and a lot of this is just me saying this because like, dude, I've put that off for 2 years. Like I haven't taken care of myself. Like I'm not in as good a shape as like I want to be or whatever. Cause like a lot of this is sedentary. I have like a standing desk and stuff, but like, I need to, I've been trying to like New Year's resolution. Like I've been eating healthier and like working out and stuff like that, trying to make that more a part of the routine. Cause if I don't make that a part of the routine now, I'm never going to do it. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to set up that stuff now. And so, yeah, I'm like pushing myself to make content and just be like, hey man, like you got to get out there. You got to do it. Make time to like have conversations like this and network with people, try to make it to like a couple shows this year to spend time with people and, build those relationships, go out to dinner and stuff like that. Because it's like, this is not going anywhere anytime soon, but it's like, it sounds cheesy, but it's like you get to the end of your life, you're not gonna be like, man, I wish I would have flipped like X more booster boxes. No, you're gonna be like, I wish I spent more time with like my buddies at like Collecticon Florida or whatever. Like that is really what matters. And ultimately, like if you're happier and healthier as a person, your business is probably going to grow just organically as like a function of that. Like if you're stressed out all the time, you're probably not going to be making the best decisions. But if you're like delegating effectively and like you're happy and healthy and physically and mentally healthy and that sort of stuff, the business is probably going to keep scaling, just by function that like you're doing well personally. And I put that off for so long, just like grinding straight. And I'm like, dude, you have to take care of yourself this year. You have to spend time with people. You have to start doing maintenance on these relationships and make sure that you have like good connections with people, because like that's ultimately what matters. Like the money is not going anywhere. Like this hobby is here to stay for the foreseeable future. We're all probably going to be doing pretty good. So it's like we really need to focus on the things that are going to matter outside of this. So kind of guru-y or whatever, but yeah, hopefully that made sense.
I can't think of a better way to wrap this up, dude. That monologue was perfect. Like that needs to be the words to live by in 2026, guys. Like make sure you put in what's important first, for sure. Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, Retro, what else we got to shout out, man? We got your YouTube, we got your Instagram. They can reach out to you on Instagram if they want to purchase through you. Guys, he's got videos pumping out like, man, almost daily at this point. I don't know what else you want to throw out there, dude.
No, that was it, man. Like I'm trying to take the channel stuff seriously. So if you guys are interested in like businessy sort of stuff, like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. And yeah, like you can hit me up for wholesale on Instagram at _RETROSPECS. But other than that, man, like I just hope if anybody takes anything out of this, just like stay involved, put one foot in front of the other, and Pokemon will do the rest, man. A long time ago, I made a video and the thumbnail was a kid playing T-ball. And like I had an arrow pointing at the kid that said you, and then like Pokemon pointing at the ball. And like the joke was like Pokemon is literally putting the ball on the tee for you. All you have to do is step up to the plate and hit it. You know what I mean? And I genuinely feel like you stay involved, the company, the Pokemon company is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So yeah.
That's actually crazy. Yeah. What's funny too, at the end things. It is funny how like I'm sure you've heard this too. It's like how many people say like it's not even a real business. You're selling someone else's products. You heard that?
So what's so funny is like people will rail against you as a reseller, be like, oh, you're selling Pokemon, you're horrible. You're someone that like built something that's trying to do something from like your, bootstraps, like built yourself from the ground up. But they never say anything bad to like Best Buy or Target or Walmart or any of these massive corporations selling Pokemon. They're just mad at you for selling. And that's crazy to me. Like you're going to hate on the little guy, but not hate on like this massive corporation institution. That's weird energy.
And that's what's funny, dude. Think about it. Best Buy doesn't sell. They sell everyone else's products. It's a retailer.
Yeah,
that's what retailers are.
Dude. It's so weird to me. Like that's weird energy. Like you should be rooting for people to be successful. And yeah, I mean, we could do a whole other podcast on like that hate.
It just came to my mind. I'm like, yeah, it's so funny. It's funny. Speaking of business, it's like so many people say there's not a real business. Like, what's a real business? What does that mean? I don't know what a real business is or a real investment, but hey, Pokemon's working. So whatever you guys want to call it, let's all keep having fun and doing well with it. That's all I got to say.
Most of the people saying that it's not a real business also don't run a real business. So it's like, what is that opinion even worth anyways? But yeah, anyways.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Appreciate all you guys showing up in a Friday afternoon. Next week, same day, we got another special guest. So that'll be a fun one too. But yeah, check out Retro, guys. We'll have him back on again in the future. So that's all we got. We're ending it there. We're out.
Adios.